here we are. We got
back again.
We're excited to talk about our movie wish list. I'm super excited actually to do this. How you doing, Adam?
I'm good. It's been a while, so it's good to be dip my toe back in the frenzy pool.
Yeah, it feels good. I like these. No, I'm going to rephrase this. The breaks are hard sometimes, like, going a full month without chatting with you guys. But then when it happens, I'm like so excited.
Yeah, for sure.
For everybody that's tuning into the frenzy tonight, as you can see, it's just Adam and I. We did hear that a couple people, co-hosts that you all know and love, might be popping in tonight. Oz is unable to make it tonight, and but I know that he's going to sneak a peek at this when he can. But we miss you, Oz, and we're excited for you to come back when you're ready. So with that being said, I think we can say hello to the people that are in the audience right now.
Sure.
That have mentioned themselves in the comments. We've got J-Mac is here. Good to see you, J-Mac, as always. And thank you for saying you look forward to the episodes. We look forward to them too. Honor U83, great to see you here as usual. Hey, we got Ronald Embry here. Great to see you, Ronald. And Eye of Thundera 85. Nice to see you here. Welcome. And it's so good to see a fresh name and a fresh face in the chat. So thank you for being here. And Bud is here. Great to see you, buddy. So, Adam, there's been a lot of stuff online popping up recently, and I don't know how you feel about spoilers and stuff like that. But this movie, I'm a big Masters of the Universe fan, but you're an enormous Masters of the Universe fan. I absolutely admire your dedication to this IP that we love. But what do you... I almost get scared when there's an abundance of spoilers just popping up randomly. Cast announcements, images from the set, things like this. It's kind of exciting, but I get nervous. Like, are we seeing too much?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of it, there's some rumors, some of it's rumors that go around social media that we don't really know. Like, there's something about Evil Lynn being like Professor Evil Lynn.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It never comes with a source though. Like, okay, where's that coming from? So, yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot. I honestly, I wasn't like, I was prepared to be disappointed by the movie. Just to get it out of the way, like most people, I would prefer it not be on Earth. But just the little glimpses that we've got, it does make me more excited for it. Just because it seems more real. I mean, we'll go into everything, but like, it doesn't look like it's going to be a total redesign like it was in '87. Like, those things are familiar, so those little things do make me happy.
Yeah, the thing that I keep hearing is that the costume design is going to be on point with the vintage figures, taking nods from other sources of inspiration from different, variations of characters that we've seen over the years, but no reinvention happening.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. Eternian Royalty, great to see you here. Eternian Royalty also mentioned the same thing. We all know the first thing on the wish list is no Earth. We know that's not going to be the case. And, Earth is always part of Masters of the Universe, as long as Queen Marlena is from Earth. And so part of me is, at least in the lore, that's something that I adhere to. That Queen Marlena is from Earth, and so it kind of makes sense that Earth be involved, but for me, at least personally, I would have rather there have been an Earth involvement in the third movie or something like that.
Right, yeah.
But Eternian Royalty, in response to your comment, I've been thinking something recently about this dilemma because I know a lot of folks don't want to see what happened with the 87 movie and just the whole conflict be on Earth. I almost feel like this might be a way for Earth to be kind of shown and then out of the way.
I hope so, yeah. I hope it's just like, 10 minutes, like intro Adam, just a little bit of development. Oh, and Tila's got a, Eternia needs him. We're going to bring him back to Eternia or something. Which does, I mean, that's just that much. That tells us that she knows his secret right away, right?
Yeah, seems
like it. Yeah.
So, and I'm okay with switching things up like that too. Like in the Superman trailer, Lois knows that Clark Kent is Superman. I'm okay with switching those things up every once in a while.
It seems like she always should have known, right? Like she's just as much as on the team as Man at Arms or Orko. Why wouldn't she know?
Exactly. And she should have been, I feel like she should have been one of the ones that knew all along.
Right. Yeah.
Allison says, if this one does well enough for a sequel, they'll throw more budget at it and we'll possibly get a sequel entirely on Eternia. See, I think that's what's going to happen. I think part 2, if this is successful, part 2 is going to just be solely on Eternia. And I do think they might bring Earth in later on if there's a third movie or something like that, Earth back in. But, and Eternian Royalty saying, I agree. If it's in the first act of him being sent to Earth, finding the sword, and then going back to Eternia, and that's it, I'm good with a bit of Earth. Yeah. I kind of think that that's how it's going to be. But, I think that all of us, at least those of you who are watching right now, and definitely Adam and I, we want to see Eternia. The original Masters, being solely on Eternia, the mini comics and not knowing what even this world is, the original action figures, they looked human, but they're not human. They're super, bulky and weird and strange characterizations. And for Earth to be involved, that kind of normalizes things, which I think fans like us don't really want to see. But he is part human, so we have to take that into account, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Now, speaking of the vintage figure lines, Adam, did you get your tattoo yet?
No, I didn't yet, but I'm just looking. I'm just trying to decide where to put it.
I got mine right here.
Oh, nice.
Just kidding. I wish that was real. But, folks, 6 points of articulation. You know what we're talking about. Adam and I were just talking about getting tattoos of that.
That's right.
I don't think it's going to happen for me, but I can always draw it on myself with a Sharpie.
But we were excited because of the new vintage style He-Man and Skeletor 2-pack from Target that's going to come out. Yeah. So that was just basically, give me that 6 points of articulation.
Yeah, I'm let's take a moment and talk about some toy stuff. I am kind of excited about that 2-pack. We'd seen the images were leaked and there were additional paint applications that I wasn't super keen on. Right. Skeletor especially, like they did a little decorative stuff on him that I was like, man, I just wish they just would chill out. I'd rather just have, like the commemorative series, I'd rather just have a reproduction of Skeletor. And I think they've really done a good job of giving us that, but also giving us a little bit extra with the box art, and the designs are a little bit different, but not too much. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. That's kind of like what I've been wanting this whole time as Origins has been going on. Like, just give me let's do commemorative, but let's do it better this time.
Yeah.
And I always thought, do the originals, like get like the original guys, and that's a great way if you wanted to like have a mint on card collection of the vintage style stuff. But then they could have also done some of the crazy stuff that they're doing with Origins, like mini comic stuff, style variants or prototypes or whatever. So I would love to see that expanded. I don't know if it's too soon. Like Origins is still going. Could they really start another line so soon? It may just be to celebrate Mattel's anniversary and just a one-off.
I think
But
it's
I'm
probably
excited.
just gonna be a one-off. They might do some extra things, maybe for conventions or something this year, or next year, I guess. Would that be next year? That might be something to look forward to, but I'm hoping that they kind of keep it just as is. They're doing a lot right now, and
They are doing a lot.
I'm a little worried, to be honest with you. They're doing a lot.
Yeah. And if you're collecting already Origins and Turtles of Grayskull, that's another, are you going to be able to do another line on top of that, right?
Yeah. Bud is saying, I'm annoyed that the 2-pack has Origin sword and shield, but has the vintage axe for He-Man.
It does look like it has the Origin sword, but I thought I was looking at the picture. It looked like the vintage shield, like with the bubble on the center and the divots around it.
It does look like the vintage shield, and I'm really happy about the vintage axe.
Yeah,
that's that vintage. I don't know about you all. I don't know about you, Adam, but I used to just stare at that axe when I was a kid.
Yeah,
just stare at it. I don't know. There's something about the engraving, the decorative engravings on it, and the handle. I don't know. The vintage axe is my favorite. One of my favorite things of the entire line.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of detail on that, and it's funny because I was so excited when Origins came out because they were doing like the Alcala style axe and sword.
Yeah,
but they never changed that up, and so that became the common thing. Yeah, and then like we never got like the vintage 82 toy thing.
Yeah, and so that's nice. It's nice to have that coming out. And Bud says, I've heard that the 2-pack figures have soft heads. That would be amazing.
Yep. They do have soft heads.
Yep. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited about that. That's my first time hearing that. Allison says, I'd be happy with a vintage line that only has wave 1 and 2. I don't need anything made after 1984. Yeah, I'm with you with that too, Allison. Now the commemorative series, that was just, if I'm remembering correctly, that was just He-Man, Skeletor, Beastman, Evil Lyn. I can't even remember who it was.
They did the 8-pack. They did everything from 83 except for Manny Faces and Ran Man.
Okay.
And then they did some of the 84 line, not all of them. They like did Prince Adam and Clawful, but not a lot past 83. Just a few 84s, and I think that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think they should do the 8-pack. That would be really cool. Like just get all those. I'm an opener, but I think I'm going to keep this 2-pack in the package. It's a beautiful package, and I would do that if they did all 8. I'd just have them lined up on the shelf, show off my tattoo to myself and just stare at those things. And I mean, I'm a fan of the posability of Origins and Masterverse. But, when it comes down to it, we're toy collectors for a reason. For me, it's nostalgia primarily. And there's just something about the 6 points of articulation for Masters. It's just, it's magic.
It is. I'll make a pitch, though, for stuff outside of the first few waves. Imagine getting a very accurate mint on card Scareglow for, $25.
Yeah. With the cloth cape and everything.
Right. Yeah.
That would be That would be amazing. Yeah. Oh, now you got me thinking, like opening up Mossman and Stinkor for the first time.
Yeah.
And that smell, if they were to do that again, like that would be amazing. All right. Well, so now we're into pipe dream territory.
Right.
Okay, so Allison is saying I would really. Let me click it here if I can click it. Nope, wrong one. Sorry, bud. I'll get back to you. Allison says I would really like vintage style B sheet Tila and Sorceress. Yeah, that would be amazing too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
See, I would love to those alternative, like what if they made those in the 6 points of articulations, but they followed the original designs? Like that'd be a great little alleyway to go down for this.
Yeah, for sure. Bud says that like the He-Man Battle Cat 2-pack. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean that would be cool. I still don't have a vintage Battle Cat. It would be cool to have a new untouched, vintage style Battle Cat. And same with Skeletor and Panther. Yeah, for sure. That would be amazing.
They did those in the commemorative line, which the printing was a little off. So this would be a great, like the colors were off on the packaging. So try it again, Mattel. Get it right this time.
Do you hear that?
Uh-oh.
Someone's knocking at the door.
Hey, Uncle Sean.
Knock on my door. And it's Three's Company. There you go. See?
That's right.
There you go.
How's it going, Sean?
I'm doing. It's been a very long week, so I'm here to geek.
Amen to that. It has been a long week, that's for sure.
It was a long week on Tuesday. So.
Hey, at least let's know this: you're not alone.
Yeah, this is true.
Let's see. We're talking now. I don't know if you heard earlier, Sean, but we're talking about. We started off talking about the movie, and folks, we're going to come back to the movie because Adam and I have put together some slides of things that we want to see in the movie, concepts that we think we should be heavily considered, if not already. And we're going to get back to that. But right now we're talking about the 80th anniversary Mattel 2-pack of He-Man Skeletor that they just showed pictures of online. That they're pre-selling through Target. It's like a Target exclusive, which I did order. I
ordered too.
Pre-ordered that, and I'm excited about that. We were talking about like what other figures we'd like to see, and I think I'm gonna just stick to like the 2-packs are cool, or like the 3-pack of the Evil Warriors is cool too. But I just want to. I think maybe just sticking to the 8. To the original 8 would be kind of just enough for me, but that's also because I'm a little overwhelmed by like the amazing toys that are still being announced despite tariffs, despite everything. Like the toy stuff right now is like it's an avalanche of awesomeness, and also so I'm like in awe, but also terrified a little bit. But yeah, anyways, Sean, have you seen those?
No, I missed them. Apparently, like I said, this week has been interesting. So, I've seen some things here and there, but I missed out on the 2-packs that you're talking about. So
yeah. To have a look it up. It's pretty cool. It's just He-Man and Skeletor. They've got soft heads. They've got the 6 points of articulation. My new tattoo, 6 points of articulation, and they're in the packaging's just phenomenal.
Cool,
just absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, I'll take a look then.
I think we could probably talk about, let's see if you guys have gotten anything interesting over the last few weeks since we were all chatting with one another last.
Yeah.
Adam, Sean, have you guys picked anything up exciting or
well, I got
coveted
this in the
something
mail
online? Ooh, what's that?
This is a comic book, self-published comic book. My friend Nino in Germany. It's basically if you've heard of the so this Whitman Publishing comic book that was started but not published, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like, I don't know, 12, 15 pages. It was a totally different origin story for He-Man.
Wow.
So Nino took that and then he expanded on it to this very, long story. So he basically turned it into a full graphic novel.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he sent me a copy for free because I consulted with him a little bit on the original source material. So it was very nice of him to send this. So yeah, pick it up if you can.
Eternian Royalty says so excited to get that. Eternian Royalty already knows. And yeah, he also said mine's in the mail. And wow, no spoiler alert. That's amazing. Allison is asking, does he need a colorist?
Yeah, he might.
He might. So is there a link to that? I'm gonna.
Yeah. I'll find it. I'll put it in the chat.
All right, cool. Allison, they might be looking for a colorist at some point, but based on what Bobby recently announced, Bobby might actually be looking for a colorist. We'll talk about that a little bit later because that's kind of exciting. He just posted something on Instagram about the Decker Northcutt case files. And if he shows up tonight, we're going to jump into that because that sounds amazing too. So that looks amazing, Adam.
Yeah, I was excited. I started reading it. It's going to take me a while. It'll probably take the week to get through it. But
yeah,
it's a big book.
That's awesome. Sean, what did you get? Anything exciting?
Well, from my side of things, the Horseman had an in-stock sale. In the last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks now, and I ended up getting the Headhunter figure from the ZoloCon.
That's beautiful.
This one, I kind of want to do a little bit like I think Oz mentioned it, doing like more of like a Scareglow tribute. So I got to figure out what I want to do with that, specifically to get him more Scareglow with more like purples and stuff.
Yeah,
I got him. And this does not come with the figure, by the way. This is from another figure, but I'm like, no, this is going with him.
That works. That totally
it absolutely works. And then the other thing I got that was pretty cool is this is Belualith from Mythic Legions.
Beautiful.
And she has also this crazy chimera, or what, I don't know what you'd call it actually, but it's kind of like it's basically a dead animal with multiple heads.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And this was one that I didn't remember to pre-order when the pre-orders were going on like 2 years ago. And we have a guy locally who sells Mythic Legions. And I went into his store, and literally I was in his store for 5 minutes tops. I ran in, grabbed her, paid for it, and left. Because I was like, I got other stuff I got to get done, but I really wanted this figure.
That's the way to do. That's the way to do the shopping. You know what I mean?
For me, yes. Because if I stand there
kids,
talking,
it
turns into a thing. Like my wife knows that about me. So
that's awesome. Speaking of blue, I picked up something pretty phenomenal. So I posted this on Instagram, but I got myself the Bluebeard Stratos.
Oh yes, I forgot.
So it's funny because we were just talking about him on the Frenzy last time we were chatting, and so this is interesting. I had to order, Adam, thank you for your advice. I had to order him another feather wing, and it looks exact. It just got the right kind. Looks really great. He was missing that, but that's it. But he's got the blue beard. I looked very closely to make sure it wasn't a fake, and it definitely wasn't. And part of the evidence that I know it wasn't a fake was that the antique store I found him at had no idea what they had. I got this guy for $20. And I was just like, my heart was pounding. I saw it in the case. I couldn't see the price tag. I had the guy come and open it up, and like my hands were shaking. It was super embarrassing. My wife and daughters were like, we're going to be on the other side of the store for right now. And then, and then he opened it up, and he was number one. He was really annoyed that I was asking him to do anything, like to get up from his chair and open up the case. And so he was, really, like calm and not interested at all. I started talking about it, and he didn't care. And then I saw the price tag, and it was $20, and I just shut up, and I took it up to the counter and got it. I was so excited to find that.
Does he have 3 notches on the straps on the front?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's another thing. The Bluebeards had that, so that's those are even by themselves. Those are very hard to find. Some of the graybeards, very early graybeards, some of them have that, but it's very hard to get those.
Yeah, he has the 3 notches on there.
Yeah.
So I went. We were out of town. And I'm usually the driver. I wanted to go and look up all the things, go to Battle Ram blog, go to the Pixel Dan book that had Adam in there. I just wanted to check on this stuff. The 3 notches hadn't come across that yet, but so that's good to know. Yeah, I saw that there's one with the blue wings and the red pack. But yeah, I'm stoked. I'm right now talking about it. I'm getting a little sweaty. I don't know why that is. I don't know why this is that important to us, but it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, it's when you find something like that, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
It's a rush
at that price point. That's really what was phenomenal. Eternian Royalty says $20. Yeah. So I looked up some, auction prices that are insane for this guy. I was just blown away. Oh, thank you, Eternian Royalty. Don't be jealous. One will come your way one of these days. Hylian Dread says, for anyone on the fence wanting to collect Jada, Amazon has a bunch of the Mega Man Jada figures on sale right now. All right, folks, if you're interested in Mega Man, head on over to Amazon. Jada Toys are doing some amazing things. We got Frankie Riviera here. Good to see you, Frankie. Thanks for popping in. Eternian Royalty is mentioning that Bobby had a premiere at the same time. It's true. He did have a premiere at the same time. So for those of you that went over there and watched that, that's fine. I mean, none of this is like we should all be doing things at the same time. We should all be doing things, right? So whenever people are not watching these lives, I figure they're doing something better. And cheers to you. Cheers to you for that. That was the major thing that I picked up this month. Haven't been getting a lot of things, but I've been doing a lot of bargain toy hunting lately, and that just fell into my lap, kind of.
Oh, and you got I don't know if we talked last time, but you got your Dragon Walker in the box too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Should I show that? Hold on. Let me go get it. Did I not show that? Oh, that's right. Because
I don't know if you did or not. I know you posted about it.
Yeah. Let me get it. I guess I'm becoming a real collector now. The box it's in okay shape, but yeah, this is I bought it for the box art. Really,
Yeah.
Box art's still in pretty good shape. $65. Feel like this was a steal too.
Yeah.
The strap in here is broken, the zip tie. And the top, you should have seen me. The top was, there it goes. The top was off and flopped over. So I was like turning it upside down slowly, moving it around until it finally got on there. Oh, there it goes. There he is.
I'm picturing it like in Raiders of the Lost Ark when he's weighing out the amount to put on the pedestal before the giant boulder comes after him.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie.
We're going to talk more about the Dragon Walker in a little bit because it's definitely one of my favorites. And Sean, thanks to you and Matt, I have this poster up here.
I don't know if you can see this, but in honor of your Dragon Walker, I put up my Dragon Walker poster from Motu magazine, the blueprint style poster.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So.
What? Hey,
Doughboy, who's Doughboy?
Good evening, ladies.
I feel like a cat with the red dot thing. I just want to hit the screen now.
I think that's I think that's a UFO. It's a UAP that Oz is filming for us right now.
Oh, you know what? The camera's turned around backwards for some reason, so it's actually I'm pretty sure that's my neighbor across the street's lamp.
Oh.
I can't tell. Oh yeah.
Hey, Bubby.
Hey. The full reunion.
Well, this is awesome. We're all here. It's like old times.
Yeah,
old times.
Yeah, good.
Bobby,
right.
Bobby, how did your premiere go?
I guess it's all right. Same as usual.
Well, hey, it's something. Oz, how you doing, man?
I have been enjoying the break from YouTube, but there was a frenzy going on tonight, and I just something didn't feel right about not being here. And especially since Bobby's here too, man. Now I'm really glad I popped in.
This is a family reunion we got going on.
Right. Yes, it is.
That's right, Ronald. It's the whole crew. Well, this
missing
is exciting.
Steve Fartendale though. He hasn't shown up yet.
Oh yes, Steve Fartendale's here, right down here. We got Alan Stilt Beast here. Great to see you.
Hey.
And then Frank Riviera is really excited that Oz is here. That's awesome. And Speaking Moistly is here. Man, this is a throwback to like 2 years ago.
The cringiest name in ToyTube, and I love it.
This is cool. Yeah. Do you guys all got your 6 points of articulation tattoo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mine's on my ass. You want me to show you?
I was going to say, I got it right next to the two W's I have tattooed on my ass cheeks so that when I do cartwheels, that says, wow, mom.
Both of you have tattoos back there. That's so
right.
Cool.
We got them done together. It was okay. It was a wild night in Vegas.
That's sweet. I remember you sent me.
I don't remember that.
I guess
you can't remember nothing when you're in Vegas, right?
They say it stayed. That's why I got the tattoo. But then when it showed up back in Maryland with me, still stuck on my ass, I was like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. Well, this is perfect. We're about to start talking about the movies.
Oh, I thought you already did that. I was wanting to talk about something else.
What do you want to talk about, Bob?
No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, we do have something to talk about real quick here. We do. Something very serious.
Oh.
Allison Troy, in talking about the comic book that Adam just got, does he need a colorist? And I said, someone we know might need a colorist at some point coming up. And that's Bobby. Did you want to talk a little bit about your announcement you made today?
Oh, you mean the comic book thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if anybody knows anybody that's an artist that wants to do a startup with me, to see if I can get my stories done in comic book form, that'd be great.
This is going to be a dream come true for those of us that listen regularly. And I can't wait to see, number one, what Decker Northcutt looks like, because I have an idea.
You won't see his face.
I'm loving that, Bobby.
That's
I was
even
about to
better.
ask.
That's why that's why every time I put him in a thumbnail or a picture, you never see his face. He's always looking down or something.
That's even better.
I want him. Everybody else, I'll show their face like I do, but him, I want him to be kind of mysterious. Since he's the main character, I want him to be kind of like ghostly in a way.
I love that. That's brilliant.
Cool. I was going to say what I really love about that too is it helps from listener standpoint. I would say readers, but since it's not in full book format, from a listener standpoint, that kind of helps you, submerge yourself into the character more because they're faceless. So like you could picture yourself being Decker.
Right.
It's easier to do that when there is no imagery of what the main character looks like.
That
brilliant. Is such an amazing artistic choice, Bobby. I freaking love it.
Well, yeah, if you go through all my posts and stuff, you can see like when I post Decker or like when I show him like saying like my advertisements or whatever, you never really see what he looks like. You always just see it.
Yeah, you never see his face, and
it's always in shadow.
Part of me was excited about finally seeing that face, but but the way Oz is describing it, the way you described it, like that's much more intriguing. I really love that. Duchess,
hello.
Hey, Duchess.
So Oz, you've been having some time off. Bobby's been coming up with this brilliant plan. Sean, you've been the family man, rushing in and rushing out of toy stores just to get the thing and get back to the family.
Yep. It's my deadlines. That's pretty much it.
Adam, as usual, has had his pulse on all things Masters. Your Facebook page and those posts and the amount of people that are reposting that's just exploded, man. It's amazing to see that. It's so cool.
Kind of crazy.
Spend
a lot of time on that now. It's like, okay. Am I spending too much time on this now?
Well, actually, it can be too. It can get to be too much, and then you just got to take a break.
What? Gets overwhelming? What?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that idiot took over X because I'm glad I don't use it no more. I don't even have that account no more. So it's that when I did the vintage Motu stuff, that was draining because every day I was posting new figures, what was coming out, because everybody kept asking me questions. They thought I actually worked for Mattel at one time.
Oh wow!
And it got too much. I just got so burnt out with it.
I
can see but at least Adam's stuff is his own stuff. It's not pushing other people's things. So that's what I was getting mostly tired of.
Yeah, it's mostly just mining my archives of material.
And I don't do Facebook. I'm sorry, but I wish I could see it. I don't do it.
It's all right.
This stuff can be overwhelming. Social media is already overwhelming.
It's
like nobody can. It's just everything's so out there. There's no mystery to anything anymore, Adam and I were kind of. What was that?
I was going to say right now with the current climate of things too, it's just so ugly. And that's really part of why I needed to step back. I was like, nah, it's just way too much.
People are mean to one another and it just kind of sucks. But Adam and I were just talking about like how maybe there's just too much information out there, like the set pictures from the movie, the Masters movie that's being made, and all these announcements that just like it's almost as if. And I don't want to start complaining about it because genuinely I'm excited about this movie. And I'm excited about any piece of information that comes my way. We talked about this last year. We all would have been skeptics. But right now I'm feeling really good about this. But it's almost like there is too much information being shared.
Right.
We're all from an era where when movies were announced, you hardly saw anything unless you were, leafing through Starlog or Fangoria or whatever magazine you enjoyed reading, or and for most people, you would just get the movie trailer and that's it. That's how you
Right.
knew.
Right.
But I'm, with that being said, I'm super stoked about any chunk of information that happens upon my internet feed.
Yeah, it's easy to get really excited about everything, and then it's like you wonder. I hope they're not revealing too much of it. There's the one thing I hate when they reveal so much with everything. Nothing like watching a trailer and then spending all the money to go to the movies to go see a movie you're super excited about, and you watch it and realize, well, damn, I got the trailer for free, and that was enough.
Which one was it? Was it Batman versus Superman, or was it the Justice League where Doomsday showed up?
Batman versus Superman. It was
Okay,
right in the trailer.
Oh, man.
And they also ruined the Wonder Woman reveal.
Yeah, exactly.
So you basically, why do I need to show up? And that was actually better because that made sense in the trailer. If you watch the movie, you're sitting through 3 hours of what the hell am I watching?
What a slog.
It was a slog, exactly.
But I mean, that's just an example of like how all these, these movies, everything is revealed, and it's like, no
mystery to it.
I mean, I honestly want to know everything about this movie before I see it. That's where I am right now. I'm super excited about it. But I'm glad that there are some directors out there that still know how to keep the mystery intact. And I hope that when things start to amp up a little bit for the Masters of the Universe movie, that they do kind of become a little bit more secretive about showing certain clips, and that the trailer is super enticing. Eric, good to see you here. Thanks for popping in.
Very good to see Eric. He's actually going to be in Gettysburg the first week of June, and Ziggy and I are going to make a trip up to go see him and hit up Attorney in Dreams.
That's awesome. I'm so jealous. Honor You says, I think the movie is going to suffer from endgame syndrome, too many characters in the first movie. I think there's going to be too many characters in the movie, and it's going to make all of us really happy. That's my prediction. Motu Prince, welcome to it. I think this movie will be great. Awesome.
Gotta agree.
Well, we've got Adam and I gathered some images to sort of help drive the conversation about
good, because I don't know what anything looks like. I haven't looked at any of it.
All right, everybody. Bobby's going to have his first reactions. Get ready for the slight disappointment that you have initially in seeing some of these images. Just be prepared for that, and then realize what it is you're looking at. Adam, I think we should start with yours because you actually have some images.
Yeah, I have some of the movie shots that were going around, and then movie related stuff.
Well, now, that's from '87.
That's from '87.
I know. I'm actually the movie poster for the 2026 movie.
Wow, this looks great. I can't wait until this
looks
comes
familiar.
Yeah, they de-aged Dolph Lundgren.
No, they built the Cosmic Key. And they got Dolph Lundgren.
There you go.
87. They're like, we're going to do a legit one this time. We're not going to have
pulled Frank Langella back in.
Come on and do it right.
No makeup this time.
Yeah. So I imagine that you put this poster here for a couple of reasons. I don't want to speak for you, but the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this was, here's what we're not going to get.
Right.
Probably.
Or here's what we already got, and then the rest is what we know, and then what we might speculate.
Is this one of the posters, because it's really tiny on my screen here, that says the new Star Wars?
Yeah.
Boy, I bet they regret putting that tagline to it.
A lot of those movies did back then.
Yeah, they did.
I'm just hoping the cow returns.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we need is a cameo of the cow.
We need the cow to come back.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Cow,
It's
man.
actually, That's actually Cowman. That's actually a really good idea. All right,
Yeah,
Bobby.
he'll show up in a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
There's still a McDonald's cheeseburger from '87. Looks just as fresh as
Well,
the
he just ate it. That's why he's got the look on his face. Like, holy crap, I just ate something from the 80s.
All right, so this is the first image.
Right.
That
So is that Prince Adam and Tila then?
yeah.
just a couple of teens walking home from school with the sword. You know,
It's odd, but yeah, I can see the pink shirt thing. I'm confused though. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you're feeling confused too, because I think that
Is this just
There
like
are
this ain't like a still from the movie though? This is just them on set, right?
no, it's
No,
just on
no,
set.
this
this
them
is
on
a
set.
still from
Okay,
a
I was
movie.
just so I was like, it looks stupid if it is because it's like it makes no sense to me. But
Yeah.
if it's
That's because
just,
they're filming. They're filming in England, so people took pictures while they were.
yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta
the-
say, I like the choice of the pink shirt for the
Me too.
throwback.
Me
yeah, it's great.
too. Yep.
Speaking moistly, is it going to be lame and be on Earth? Okay, so we were theorizing that it starts off on Earth. A lot of people are talking about how there's been some event on Eternia. Young Prince Adam is sent to Earth because obviously that's where Queen Marlena's from. Probably he's a kid. He probably has very vague memories of Eternia. And he grows up on Earth basically, but we enter into his life apparently right at this point. He's like a 20-something in college or whatever, and
Oh, I know what it is. I don't mean to bust you up, but I think
No,
these are the kids from the Christmas cartoon, and they're getting older, and they
They're all
realize
grown
they're
up.
from Eternia.
yeah, exactly.
There it is.
I think
That's what it is. They're going to come back with that weird dog too.
They're looking for Santa Orko.
Yeah, exactly. I do
They
like that it looks closer, that the colors are closer to vintage.
Yeah.
And that's a relief.
Right. I'm glad they weren't going like with some kind of completely new, because even again in the original movie, right? Like you see Tila, you see Man at Arms, little resemblance to what our toys gave us.
Yeah.
And
Who's that?
mean, He-Man was close, but it was still kind of just like, eh. So again, I'm liking the nod to the original looks to the toys. I think it's great. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the bulk up on the actor that they chose to play Prince
Yeah.
Adam / He-Man.
Yeah.
Because when they first started showing the pictures of him, I was like, oh, there's going to be a whole lot of CGI on this dude. But no, he naturally bulked up a lot. Like he's really filling out for the role. And that's outstanding.
Is that giving you the feels?
No,
Yeah.
it's giving me the feels. Woo!
I'm actually relieved that he's not this, it's not a Captain America thing. He's not a puny little guy who
Right.
like swells up and bursts like the Hulk. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in seeing this guy just become a hero in the body of this person who he originally was. I mean, obviously he's already buff as Adam, which makes a lot of sense, and he'll probably just be slightly more buff as He-Man is what I'm predicting.
He's just going to get a spray tan when he holds the sword aloft.
Yeah. Now, Adam, you did gather these slides, so I hope I hope you didn't have
No,
things
no, I
that
didn't
you-
have anything. This is just for conversation.
Cool. Now, I did see
Skelly's Battle Ram blog.
I know. As we were talking, I was like, "Oh crap!" Adam put these slides together, and we're just bullying him out of it. But
no, I very specifically didn't do any history because I'm a little tired. So
yeah, okay, good. Not okay, good that you're tired, but okay, good. We're not stepping on your toes. Now they are apparently looking up at something, and there has been some shots of a guy with a big metal thing contraption with dots on it. So there is going to be some CGI. There is going to be a big creature that is chasing them during this scene.
That's not what it is. That's not what it is. I used to do this thing at the mall when I was a teenager all the time. They're standing in place looking up. And then as you do that for a while, you will notice people will just stop and look up, trying to see what you're looking at.
That's exactly
what they're doing here. That's all they're doing.
That's all
they're waiting for everybody to turn around and start looking up.
Some people are saying that guy with the thing is Beastman because he's been walking around like an ape. So
okay,
that could be that.
I thought they did announce an actor for Beastman.
Yeah,
They haven't.
They have not announced any actor for Beastman or Merman that I know of.
And then they get the world's strongest man, or whoever it was, the guy who played the Mount, playing Goat Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool that Goat Man's going to be in it.
I think it's such a tertiary character. Like, do we need him?
We're also getting Pig Boy. Apparently, so
the legacy continues.
Are they doing that just to say, hey, we know our stuff?
I guess.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Like
so. It wouldn't surprise me.
Both of those appeared in the cartoon, the Revelation.
Yeah.
Right, they did.
No.
Which is crazy to me too. They even appeared in there. So,
but that's just I think that's like fan servicing in a way, like saying, hey, we know what we're doing here. We know these characters, they're deep cuts. But that doesn't get me anymore because that shit's all over the place on the internet, and you can find out anything weird.
Well, I will say this: if I were in advertising, I would, and I knew that the fan base for this particular IP was so hungry for people to take over this IP and turn it into a movie that honors what made the fans. I think I would try and emphasize, like, all right, these characters are going to be in this, not like the '87 movie where you get where you get some villains you're not familiar with. And a Beastman that doesn't look like Beastman.
I was going to say villains that look like other villains.
Exactly.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, if they came out and all of a sudden you see Trapjaw, Triclops, and Beastman walk in and they look like that, like they're supposed to, that would really get me excited.
And apparently we are going to be getting all those characters because they've already been cast.
Right, but they have to look like, they can't do like they did with and I didn't watch these movies because it didn't appeal to me, but like G.I. Joe, where you have all these characters but they don't look like any of their characters.
Huge problem with those movies.
They did that with Mortal Kombat. The second movie from back in the 90s, they did that. And just like you got to really, or even the Transformers movies, it's like, who's that? They all look the same, and it was just like,
I mean, I'm okay with them changing it or altering it a little bit because maybe it's a little bit more difficult to really make that design translate, because there's always some difficulty with that. But yeah, they got to at least look kind of close.
Well, I mean, they got the sword right there, and that's a He-Man sword. You know what I mean?
Right. I got to tell you, the sword is so freaking impressive. Like, to take this very cartoonesque, sword and act, because like even if you look at the versions of it that are made now, props or whatever, like, just recently they've made some better looking ones, but I remember years ago, if you looked up like Masters of the Universe Power Sword replica, like I don't know what the heck that design was. That thing didn't look anything like what the Power Sword looked like. It didn't even look like the movie Power Sword, which was crazy to me. Like, if you were gonna at least do something, make it look like the movie, but they never did. And like I said, more recently they've put out some replicas that look a lot more like what we've seen with toys, but to make it look like a like a realistic kind of sword, not so goofy, in some ways. Like this sword is beautiful, just beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It looks like it weighs 1,000 pounds, but
the thing about this sword that I really appreciate, and this is coming from a mini comic fan first and foremost, is it does have like an Alcala vibe to it, not just looking Filmation constantly too. Because when I saw Filmation as a kid, I was like, that doesn't look like my toy.
Exactly.
It looked like its own thing, and this is kind of like melding together of two different versions, and I'm really shocked at how well that works. The same can be said, like, if you look at Tila's design in this. I mean, she's got like the Revelation kind of vibe to her, but you're looking at her and you're like, but that's Tila. And I don't mind, amazingly, that she doesn't have bare legs and all that stuff, because in this day and age, it makes sense that, she's a warrior. She's going to be covered more. Her arms make sense to have uncovered so she can, react and move and however when she's in a fight. But the rest of it, to me, I'm like, Revelation didn't do that bad of reinventing her style. And I'm fine with that. And even with Prince Adam, it's like Adam looks Filmation-esque, but then there's also a little bit of 2000X in there too, because they didn't overdo it with the pastels. They actually made it toned down, like with his pants and the boot, the colors of that stuff. So it's like they're doing a lot of nodding at different eras with all of these things we've seen so far. And the cameos like Pig Boy and all that stuff, it's like, I could care less. Are you going to make this feel like, if I like 2000X, there's going to be something in it for me? If I like the mini comics, is there something in it for me? Filmation. And I feel like so far it's feeling like there's something for everybody, but hopefully they're only on Earth for 10 minutes, 15 tops. That's my hope, at least. Yeah, I think that and just to take a quick moment here, Eric Perryman he's not plugging, but he is talking about something that's important. Daniel Benedict is working on Fall of Grayskull 2, and I think still trying to raise money for it.
Okay.
So and the trailer that he made for it looks very, very much honors Filmation, but also honors the mini comics and honors a lot of different versions of these characters. So it looks pretty cool. So thank you, Eric, for reminding us of that. And I think looking at this picture of He-Man, I honestly think there's a lot of, and I know that the next slide kind of leads to this conversation, Adam, but I think there's a lot of Mondo going on in this movie. So I think, and I don't know if, there's is this the original Mondo He-Man or the one that came out later?
That's the second version.
That's the second release. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I just basically I put together some slides of modern figures, statues, and artwork that I thought had a movie-esque quality, just as just for discussion.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people have been talking about. I think one of the versions of He-Man that Mondo put out had a wrist gauntlet that looked something like this.
The first version was a little more like that. Which I didn't include here.
I just think they're going to really try, at least based on what I've heard from people who attended CinemaCon in Vegas. They showed some footage and some behind the scenes images and some images on set, and everyone who watched it that's a fan of Masters of the Universe has said, so these are just rumors, that a lot of the costumes are really, they look a lot, who the characters are.
But that's what I was just saying. It doesn't have to be exactly vintage or 2000X or nothing like that. But it has to be like when you show those stills of them running and stuff. I knew that was Tila right there. Absolutely. So I don't have a problem with how she looks like that. I really don't. Because I know I could tell that's Tila. I just don't want to see her in like jeans or in a dress. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or something goofy where it's like, well, this is Tila, but this is our version of her, and it's like, well, you got to make it look a little like her. So I appreciate that.
I agree, and I think this costume is kind of Tila's costume here is kind of exactly what we're talking about. It's like there's a little bit of everything. There's even some of the '87 movie in this costume.
Yeah,
a little bit. There's just everything about Tila that we have grown to appreciate over the years with all the different versions seems to be trying to make an appearance in this costume, and that's kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, and I really like it because, again, like what Bobby said, you know, like you can look at that and it's instantly recognizable.
Yeah, you know, it's
again, you go back to the '87 movie. If they'd just flashed an image of Tila up from the '87 movie without any context or any surrounding characters, I'm like, well, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like literally with no context with anybody else, you know, you'd be questioning, is this a new character? You know, what is this? I don't recognize this at all.
Is this a still from Ice Pirates? You know?
Exactly. Oh, man. I got to see that again. I haven't seen that in about 20 years.
I just watched it, I don't know, 3 months ago. Maybe it was around the holidays. I watched it. I love that movie.
On Tubi.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it so many times. It's unbelievable.
That's great. One of the greats. I wonder what the chest emblem will look like if it looks 2000X-ish. We'll have to see. I hope. I mean, I'm cool with whatever they put on there as long as it kind of fits with what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want Skeletor to have this going on. I've heard rumors that he does. He has shown up, or the costume has shown up in those images from CinemaCon, and it does look like this, essentially. Bringing in all the elements of Skeletor that we love.
I'm sure with the days now, they can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if they do it or not, that's up to them. But I just hope.
My one prediction for He-Man is, I mean, I think they can get away with Skeletor, you know, skies out, thighs out situation, but
I'm
pretty much ready for He-Man to not have furry underwear in this movie. I'm preparing myself
wear some
for
slacks.
That. I want him to be in his furry undies, but I'm already preparing myself for that.
What if it's something like that, but he also has like leggings on or something? Like, you know, like
I just want to see him
like how his boots are
leggings now.
wrapped. You know,
Well, they
did
did that they did that in Conan, where Schwarzenegger had leggings on, but he also had the fur loincloth and everything else, and it actually didn't look bad at all, in my opinion, back even in the '80s. So if they went there and did, you know, some other color for his legs or whatever, but the loincloth is there and the fur boots are there, that's I'd still be thrilled with that, because
something like that.
Speedo again.
Yeah. Something like that. Maybe like some like
no cape.
Buckskin kind of like looking pants or something. If they're gonna cover them up a little more, something, you know, like that, I think it'd be all right.
I mean, I hope we get the traditional He-Man everything. So that's what I'm hoping for. I could see some humor there, like Adam, once he's transformed, being like, this is what I have to wear. And I'd be okay with that kind of a joke.
He's gonna rock jeggings. That's gonna be it.
Jeggings. Leotard.
He's a never nude.
Yeah. So this is a scene that I want to see in this movie.
That would be awesome.
That's old art, yeah.
I want to see something like this. I'm excited about Idris Elba playing Man-at-Arms. I think that's a brilliant choice.
I agree. I completely agree.
He's like the most heavyweight actor in the film too.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like I know a lot of people were thrown by that casting, but it's like, I don't know, man. You go back and you watch a lot of his stuff. It's like, yeah, no, this works. This works really, really damn good for him.
He's
Yeah.
great.
Basically, in Thor, he's basically Man at Arms, right?
In a
That's
sort of way,
kind of what
right?
his
Looking
character is.
over Asgard's He-Man. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they'll give him hopefully a lot more to do in this because boy,
Yeah.
was he underused in those movies. But it's
So
like
much.
just looking at like Tila's design gives me hope. The Adam nods works, but the thing like I do want to see what He-Man's going to look like. But then on top of that, I'm like, what's Man at Arms going to look like? Because
that's what
I
want
want him to look like a one-man army.
Yeah.
In that suit. I don't want it to. I mean, I know vintage is what it is, but once we got 2000X and you saw what they could do with his suit in that cartoon, even that was enough for me to go, Man at Arms, badass. And I never said that in my entire life until my 20s because I never really got into that character until 2000X proved to me he's freaking cool. So
yeah, that shoulder thing that's in the 2000X that's here on this Mondo figure, like we definitely got to have that.
Right. Yeah, it reframed what his armor was in 2000X.
Yeah. So I hope they keep going there with him and then what's her name now? Why can't I think of her name? Who's playing Evelyn?
Alison Brie.
Alison Brie. Yeah.
Who is she?
She is the she was in the show Community.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw it.
She's really funny in it, actually. She's been in a lot of things. She's a heavy hitter too. She's more like a maybe B-list actor, but still like
at this point, yeah.
She
was a little more famous like the late 2000s into the 2000 tweens, I guess.
She was in Mad Men too.
Mad Men,
yeah,
that's right.
There's and she's in a lot of like movies, indie movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So she has a certain cred that when they cast her, I was like, really? Because everybody has their go-to. A lot of people want Eva Green to play her all these times and stuff. I'm like, she's not who I would have ever put on a casting list for this. So that makes me go, well, how are they going to do this character?
I think it's going to be good because she's going to be able to capture that snark that we see every once in a while in the Filmation cartoon.
Yeah.
And still be attractive while doing that, and can turn on you and be super evil. And I think that Alison Brie has that ability to be those different to project those different energies.
Well,
I just want to see her mouth off to Jared Leto as Skeletor and not take his shit.
I want to see at every turn someone mouthing off to Skeletor in this movie. That's just what I want to see, especially since it's going to be Jared Leto. I still feel weird about that, but I don't know if you guys watched the Haunted Mansion that came out a couple years ago. It's not a great movie, but I will say he did a good job as the Hatbox Ghost, and he's just a skeleton essentially.
Hopefully you don't know it's him behind all that,
Yeah.
I think that I'm betting on Keldor, like where he'll be him at first, and then the accident will happen, and he'll become Skeletor or whatever. But
or maybe just a flashback.
Or flashback. Yeah.
Allison mentioned he was going so method, he was actually burning his face off for the role. Look, there it is.
That would not surprise. He's actually going through skin removal treatment right now.
Removal treatment.
Kenzo, good to see you. We got Kenzo here, and Thanos popped in too.
Yes.
So do you guys see the newest Blade Runner movie, Blade Runner 2049?
Yes, a while back. Yeah.
He plays an evil character in that movie, and he plays it subtly, like he's just creepy. So it makes sense that Jared Leto would play this character. So
the one thing that I'm really impressed by with this movie, and like there's tons of fan casting. I mean, for the love of God, if I see one more person want Tom Selleck to play Man at Arms in my entire life, I could go. I'm so sick of hearing some of these fan casts, and that's why leading up to the movie, I was just like, I don't even care who's cast. I want to see what they want to do with it in order for me to make my opinion and not just go into it with my preconceived ideas. And beside Idris Elba and Jared Leto, almost everybody else in this movie, I'm like, I don't really have a lot of history with these actors. Like I've seen Alison Brie in Community and here and there and some things, but for the most part, I'm really enjoying that this is going to feel like when people saw Christopher Reeve play Superman for the first time in some ways, where it'll be like, this is now He-Man to me as a live action person. Here's going to be, Beastman this way if he's in the movie or whatever and all that stuff. And so on that level, I like that they went with some really offbeat casting compared to what a lot of people were hoping for.
I'm glad. Yeah. I'm so glad. My wife and I were just rewatching Lost. It was her first time watching Lost. My second time watching Lost, and I remember back on the forums, the He-Man.org forums or somewhere, someone was talking about the actor who played Sawyer was good. They were thinking about how he would have been a good Beastman. And so every time Sawyer was on, I was like, oh my God, I can see it now. Back then I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, a little snarl with the face. I can see it. Maybe.
But I think Beastman's gonna be. I'm with you, Sean. Like, I think it should. I'm glad that most of these actors are unknowns. Like when Gene Hackman was Lex Luthor and unknown Christopher Reeve is Superman. It was awesome. It was just you recognize the villain, and I think that like with this kid playing, He-Man. I've never seen this guy before, and the guy who's playing the new Superman, David Corn
Sweat.
Corn Sweat. I've never seen him before. I like the idea of going back to this, like to bring in an unknown so they can be identified as these characters.
Yeah,
real quick, guys.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I did just want to jump in and say real quick, my phone is dying out. I'm not going to be able to stay for too long here. I know we were talking about like a movie wish list. So I'm going to leave you guys with this before I bug out.
Alrighty.
Masters of the Universe, coming of age, John Hughes movie with a soundtrack by Tears for Fears. All right. Have a good night.
Oz, well, thank you for being here. And you just left me with something that I'm going to be dreaming about for the rest of my life. And I hope that's what this movie becomes.
Skeletor's theme is Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love that, Oz. That's brilliant.
Oh, God.
So, all right.
He-Man lifts his sword and sowing the seeds of love starts kicking it. I'm going to throw my popcorn. That's all I know.
That would be amazing, right?
It would be so... I'd be there like, oh, God, this is not the movie I needed in my life.
I got to say this. I'm with Alan here. Beastman has to be orange.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. Dirty orange like the Mondo.
Red armor. Blue accents.
Gotta have it. Gotta have the white face.
Yep.
He's got to have all those things. The bumps on his forehead. He's got to have all of it. Seriously, if they get rid of that stuff and they make him look just like Grizzlor, I will kind of be pissed.
Yeah, me too.
But I think I think that's what they're gonna. I think they're gonna try to give us some of this stuff. And John Guzman says there better be a battle ram in this movie.
That's absolutely right.
It'll be in the background somewhere, parked in the corner.
I hope that they actually
at the palace.
Yeah. I mean, with the battle ram, there's got to be a moment of seeing it in Man-at-Arms garage area, and He-Man or Prince Adam going like, I just gotta get on that. I got to drive that.
I do have
wouldn't be
one wish though
surprised.
for the movie that ties in with the filmation is when they have all the sky sleds fly past the screen real quick. I just want to
Yes.
see that.
Me too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I
I doubt they'll do the goddess, but you know,
we all want to see the goddess. We all want to see the green goddess in this movie, or just ever, always, right? And the same.
Yeah, it'll be
person who
Tila
was-
when she eats that burger that 40-year-old girl. She'll turn green.
when
Well,
she's
yeah, she will turn green. Yeah.
Yeah.
The people who went to the CinemaCon thing in Vegas, they did say that the sorceress's costume is phenomenal.
Good.
So, and she's being played by Deadpool's girlfriend in the Deadpool movies.
Oh yeah.
Arena background.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she was in Firefly.
Firefly.
Yeah,
Serenity,
Firefly.
And,
Yeah.
Oz said, "Love you guys. Great to see all of you and have some fun. Don't forget to tickle that like, friends. All right, hit that like button, everybody who's watching."
Yeah.
And then speaking moistly, I want to get to this. I definitely want to get to this, but we'll get to this. I definitely want to see that too. And we've got to see these guys
Yes.
like this, right?
Something similar.
Yeah. It has to happen.
Yeah,
It has to happen.
I'd be shocked if they didn't do Trapjaw. I hope they do Merman too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Trapjaw has been cast.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm thinking of Triclops. I know Triclops has been cast, but
Triclops. For sure. I don't remember if they did Trapjaw or not. But I'm sure they will.
But this is bringing up one of my big issues here. No one said a thing. No one said a damn thing about Merman yet. And neither have they haven't said anything Beastman. People are saying that Beastman is that computer generated skeletal frame that's hopping around the set, or that's going to be a computer generated character. So that'll give them the opportunity to make Beastman look amazing, but no one said anything about Merman or Beastman yet, and that makes me nervous.
Well, so jump in real quick on that. I mean, it felt like when they started announcing who the cast was, I was like, oh, that's the final casting. And then like a couple weeks later, then all of a sudden, oh, so-and-so's Ram Man. And I'm like,
yeah, someone's Ram
so
Man.
we're adding more people to this cast, and I had no idea. And they're still filming right now. So it wouldn't surprise me if out of nowhere they go, here's so-and-so, and they're going to play this. But the other thing, too, you were talking about the CinemaCon stuff when that was revealed. On the one channel that I was listening to the reveals about this movie, they were naming characters that hadn't even been named yet in the casting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know somebody mentioned Spike or somebody else
Yeah.
said Manny Faces. And so I'm like, okay, if they're going legit and going like all the original ones like we had when we were kids, I mean, Merman to me is like, he'd have to be CGI probably to make it work. I mean, who the heck would want to go through hours to make that work or whatever compared to the other guys?
Doug Jones.
Well, I agree with you there, but I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking it would be really, granted we had already one movie that didn't go there, but it would be really, really crappy if this movie, they finally, we're getting almost everything right, but no, Beastman and Merman. It's like, oh, you gotta be. It's like, to me, that's the trifecta: Skeletor, Beastman, Merman. You can't not have the three of them in this movie.
Exactly.
Out of all the villains, you know, like.
Yep.
Well, sometimes movies do keep things close to the chest too, where they don't announce everything at one time.
Exactly.
You
know. Motu Print says Sam C. Wilson as Trapjaw. Is that a statement that they're on the cast list, Motu Prince, or is that like a wish? I don't know Sam Wilson, but maybe they've already been cast, so that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe.
No, that is who they cast. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And John says Mechaneck is also going to be in the movie. I did see that.
Right.
Yeah. That was right. That was only like a couple weeks ago too. that he was announced.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's why I'm saying don't think that he won't be in. It might they might just have him in like a cameo capacity, and maybe there's something later, or they just haven't gotten Merman yet or something.
Yeah. Alan Vine Jungle Figure Factory says, "I hope Fluffle's cousin is in it." Oh man, yeah. Oh, and I hope, and I love 2000X. I love the Mike Young Productions cartoon, but I hope to God there's no hey guys, none of that voice acting at all. Please no.
So that would be one of the things on my checklist for this movie. Do not make the villains humorous, and don't play up the comedy just for the sake of making it comedic.
Right.
If it's going to be comedic in moments, that's fine, but don't make the villains suffer because they're bumbling, and don't make them sound like they don't have a single brain cell in their heads. Make them ferocious, make them nightmarish, make them stuff that it makes sense. You need He-Man to fight these guys off.
I mean, I can see like Beastman making some lame mistake and Skeletor scolding him for like less than 5 seconds worth of
they could do it
time.
once.
Yeah, but then give right back as a nod to the Filmation cartoon. Alan says Andy Serkis would be a great merman. I totally agree. The motion capture master, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
He would be great. And maybe they haven't announced Beastman and Merman yet because there's some bigger names behind them or something.
Yeah, you never know.
We definitely need Battle Cat. I have a question for you guys. Battle Cat talking or not talking in this movie?
Not talking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking talking as Cringer, but not talking as Battle Cat, or even being able to communicate without talking. What is that called? Telepathy, yeah. See,
I love Filmation, as you know, but I don't think it would transfer good on the movie. A lot of that stuff.
Might look like Scooby-Doo or something. Yeah, that's the last thing we want.
It works in the cartoon, but I don't think it'll work. And if the movie looks really good, like design wise, I don't think he would look good talking. Hey man, with that deep voice,
Like you could have Battlecat understand what He-Man says, but he just it's not, he doesn't respond back verbally.
Right.
Like a or even just like a Chewbacca Han Solo relationship.
Yeah,
right. They understand each other.
Yeah, he could do growls and stuff.
Yeah. That would be cool. Yeah, I'm on board for that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just really want to see the red armor and the green fur.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were we going to say, Bobby?
I don't remember.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. See, Man-at-Arms looking like that.
Yeah, he could. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, I feel like there's probably going to be an evolution of costumes if this is like any other IP. If they do a series of films, hopefully, if this is successful, maybe we'll see some costumes more like this, or Tila evolve into this.
Maybe it'd be like Hitchcock, where they change costumes with their mood throughout the movie.
Yeah, brilliant, right?
Or if they have to armor up for something like,
like
getting into battle kind of moments and things.
Battle armor, Tila in some, I don't know. I think she should put maybe the leg stuff on for battle, but some sort of changing into something for
like a Princess Leia. as Jabba's
stuff. The Skeletor puts her in this, like after when she's imprisoned or whatever. That would be awful. Let's not have that.
No.
I'd hate that movie so much. I'd go watch it again the next film, probably. Yeah, that's horrible. Bad idea.
Horrible. I've seen it 10 times this week.
It's so horrible. I can't believe I watched it 10 times this week.
I'm just going to take notes. I'm just taking notes. I'm
They
gonna
had
write
to
an
do the
article. about it.
filmation jumping on in front of the camera moment. Of course, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think there's gonna be a scene like that?
I would.
Like
I
one
mean,
or
you never
two?
know with them doing things. They always
Yeah.
do that nostalgia shit nowadays, you know. So I could
Yeah.
see them doing a little bit of everything in the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So John makes a good point. When Tila goes back to Eternia, she might have to change costume. For
Oh,
some-
Yeah,
jeez,
it's possible.
that would be hysterical if they get to Eternia and she just rips her leggings off and looks at him and goes, eyes out, and he's just like,
Yeah.
well, hello.
This is the Eternian way. Good
What?
luck, because you're about to
No
turn
one
into a
wears
costume like
pants.
this, too.
It's the British way, the Eternian way.
I hope that, I mean I hope there's a moment where he gets to Eternia and it's got to be a culture shock for him, and the skies out thighs out thing for male and female characters could, if I walked into if my plane landed in another country and I got out of the airport and everybody looked like Zodak, I would be I'd be taken aback. So maybe something like that could, this is the way we dress could be a joke. So Zodak, do we want to see Zodak? I want to see Zodak.
I
would
definitely
love
want to see
that.
that. Yeah.
Who would play Zodak? I know that he has not been announced as being a cast member. So
It's
Stephen
me.
Wright.
I got in.
I want that voice coming out of Zodak's mouth.
did you just say Stephen Wright?
Stephen Wright. I
Oh
want,
my
You know.
I
God,
want
that
that
would be
voice to be
amazing.
the voice of Zodak. Because like on Filmation, he always had that monotone, and I just want to. I want to visit Eternia. I want to hear that out of Zodak for some reason.
Well, I'm of the belief that every movie should be overdubbed and Stephen Wright should play all the characters.
There you go.
But that's just me. I'm glad you said that, Sean. I want to hear Stephen Wright's voice come out of Zodak's face. Maybe.
Here's Adam, Mr. Pink. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Eternia is really hot. That's why everyone runs around half naked. No, there's a lot of lava and steam. Look at
Yeah.
what's behind
A lot
Zodak
of
here.
volcanoes everywhere.
Yeah. And I planned this out, but I think that Stratos needs to have a blue beard if he's going to be in the movie.
Yeah,
There you
congratulations on that. That's
Thank
authentic,
you.
right? That's not. someone
It's the
painted
real
it.
deal.
It's
Okay.
authentic.
I did the whole investigative research, and
Yeah,
Adam
good.
pointed out another thing too.
Yeah,
You didn't catch this earlier, Bobby, but I got this guy for $20.
yeah, that's what you sent us in the text.
Oh, did I say that
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
message?
I was surprised. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, couldn't believe it.
I got the perfect Stephen Wright quote for when
Oh.
they meet him as Zodak, actually. He's just, I intend to live forever. So far, so good.
Exactly. That's brilliant. It's not this one. If progress means to go forward, then what's Congress?
That's actually a Gallagher.
That is a
joke,
very
too.
good
Yeah.
one for right now.
Did
actually.
Gallagher steal that from Stephen Wright?
I don't know. Who said it first?
Who came first,
What-
the chicken or the egg?
Well, Gallagher's been around a long time. I mean, they both have, I guess. But
I think they probably started around the same time.
yeah, because that was like
Uh,
Gallagher when he do those word things, like if
Yeah.
you got progress starts with pro, and what does con stand for? It's the opposite, Congress. You know?
Mhm.
That's right. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go on a YouTube journey tomorrow morning, just watching all the Gallagher.
They're on Tubi. You
Gallagher.
can watch every single episode there.
That's awesome. All right. Nolan says, "Sorry, I'm late."
It's all right.
That's all right, Nolan. Thank you for being here. Speaking moistly says, Stratos can be omitted from the movie. I want to see a Stratos.
I do
It'd
too.
be cool to see him.
This is another good, battle scene. Tila. This would be cool.
These are hitting me exactly. These are by Gerald Perel, and he's a comic book artist, but he channels the good mini comic vibes I love about
Yeah.
Masters when he does the artwork for this. He did the Stratos one. He did this. He's got a ton. that he just that's the only one I don't like out of every one that he's done.
This one's good.
Man at Arms is badass. Yep.
And then this one's good too. Oh, this is a different artist, but
no,
that's
artist.
the same artist.
Oh, it's the same artist.
But he did some mini comic like Alcala style versions as well.
Okay.
So if they go with all red on Beastman, I'm totally cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally cool with that. I do want to see the orange and the red and the blue, but if they go like this, and he has to have the armor. He's got to have all those
Of course.
horns. I do love these illustrations.
I have the He-Man print.
Oh, that's
he
cool.
had a whole print sale back around quarantine, and each of these is an individual print that you could have gotten through this one comic art site.
That Skeletor is amazing.
Skeletor is great. He also has a Tila and a Goddess one too. Yep, I got the Tila one.
I put on my wish list a major battle in or near Castle Grayskull, and I want to see something like this, a scene like this.
Yeah.
With Grayskull up on the hill. Grayskull can look, Grayskull's got to look like Grayskull.
Well, obviously.
I mean, if they make it look like, I'm not a big fan of the Grayskull that's in that quick scene in the 87 movie. And actually, I've said this before, I'm not a huge fan of the way Grayskull looks in 2000X or even in Revolution. But I know they're all trying. To make it look cool while honoring the original design. This one in this image, I would accept this. This is kind of amazing. It's got to be tall, decomposing.
Yep.
Really nice.
Let's see. And Alan says, I approve of an all red Beastman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this image of Skeletor on his bone throne with, drinking that potion, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
I could see a scene like this. This is very cinematic. I could see a scene like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him come up to Evil Lynn and ask her to kiss him and stuff like they did in the cartoon.
No.
Right.
I don't think
How
they're
do you
going to
kiss
do
a
that.
skull?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that there's a point where Evil Lynn looks like this. There's a rumor going around. Sorry, what?
Showing her butt or just looking cool?
Just looking cool.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
The butt part's not really that much of a problem either. But I think though that she's supposed to be. There's a rumor going around that she's going to be in disguise as a professor for Adam. And that's such a great throwback to her in disguise. And yeah,
she's a transformer.
Yeah, she's great. I want to see scenes like this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they did that a lot with her in Filmation where she disguised herself. And...
Yeah. Do you think she'll have yellow skin? As someone was asking in the chat.
My guess is no.
I don't think so either.
They might do more like the 2000X version where she's more gray or something.
Yeah.
Pale, maybe.
Yeah, pale. Goth.
Yeah.
I think my prediction, Faker is going to be part of the second movie, as opposed to being part of this first one where they're introducing.
What they'll do is they'll be walking through the lab and you'll see like a Faker laying on the table real quick as they pass by.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
They'll do something like that.
I love that. I've always been a huge fan of Faker. I don't know why.
Yeah, I like Faker too.
I love the vintage action figure. And I'm kind of, crushing on the vintage collection Masterverse version of him images have been shown. But I love a traditional Faker for sure.
Yeah.
So it would be great if he was blue.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Beastman really carries this energy in the film. And Trapjaw too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they just, if they give us the basic trap jaw thing with the right colors, that's going to be really amazing. That's a real gutsy move to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that Mattel Studios, noticing how the Barbie movie got away with all that, like just going full Barbie with all the pinks and the bright colors, and like that, it actually worked, and that I think there's the potential for this to work. And we got it. It would be great to have the Green Goddess. Come on.
Yeah. For sure.
And Mossman has been cast.
Yeah, they do have Mossman.
Yeah.
Well, they got a lot of characters to throw in here.
I think that it's probably going to just be that they're going
quick cameo type things, or
cameo.
They all get in a room together or something real fast.
And the battle, like planning for the big battle at the end or something.
Something, yeah.
Or
maybe they'll do something like the Filmation cartoon where they all announced each other in the beginning and they all did like a call to arms, type of thing.
Is that the Diamond
Ray disappearance? Yeah.
That'd be cool.
They do something like that, calling Mossman. You see him,
That was like that's my favorite scene in all of Filmation.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
me too.
I always love it. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. I want that too. I want that to happen in some capacity.
Because that's one of the only ones that has a lot of the characters in the same episode. So that's what makes it special, I think.
I do want to see the sorceress transform into a bird, and I do want them to stick to the idea that she can't leave the castle unless she's
that's great
bird.
stuff. Yeah,
Zor.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they broke that rule a couple times in Filmation, I still like that idea.
I just want to see Prince Adam look up and say Zor, like he does.
Yeah.
The casting wise too, I really like the Marina Baccarin being the sorceress, and then when you see the actress that plays Tila, it looks like they could be mother and daughter.
It's so true.
I dig that casting a lot more than I ever expected to once they announced that she'd be playing sorceress.
I don't know they'll do this guy, but there was art for him, so I included it.
Jeez.
They gotta do a version of Wondar just running in the background or something, or showing up at that meeting that Bobby was talking about and just sitting there, not saying
it'll be them when they're on Earth, and Adam and Tila are walking through a grocery store, and they'll toss a thing of Wonder Bread in their cart.
Yeah, that's what'll happen.
If they take the time in this movie to go grocery shopping, that's where I will have a bit of a problem. Just be like, oh my god, get to the stuff.
Well, they need resources to get to where they need to go, and that's one of the ingredients is
Wonder Bread on a bus, on the side of a bus or something.
On the other side of the spectrum, by the fourth movie, will be Skeletor, Beastman, and Evil Lynn walking through an Eternian grocery store. They'll just be looking for ideas. And
I'm complaining about how price of eggs are up.
Exactly.
and they're trying to just get kitty litter for Panther because, dear God, if they have to live with that smell for one more day,
Right.
I would pay to watch that movie. I would. And I think that we've seen Dolph Lundgren in England around the time that they're shooting, right? So I think he's going to show up as King Grayskull.
Wasn't he going to be King Randor?
Oh, no, Randor's already been cast too.
Oh, is that somebody else? Okay.
That's somebody else, yeah.
I can't remember his name. He was the dude that you ever see Knight's Tale?
Yeah.
The Heath Ledger movie. He was the knight that he let Heath Ledger win, if I remember. He wasn't the evil knight, but he was the other knight.
Yeah.
That was in the movie that allowed him to win, if I remember it. He was also in the Solomon Kane movie that was released I want to say at least 10 years ago or more now. He played Solomon Kane in that one, but he's been in a bunch of different things.
Yeah, so that guy, you know, unless they're trying to pull one on us, I feel like Dolph Lundgren must be playing King Grayskull, just a cameo, probably a flashback scene or
right sorceress
story,
explaining the history of Eternia or something.
Yeah.
They'll do a Pee Wee Herman scene where they're running through the movie set and he'll be playing He-Man in the background.
Exactly. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Danny DeVito has actually been cast as Randall. It's true. Speaking moistly. That would kind of be cool too. Danny DeVito as
Ram Man.
He should be Rio Blast.
Real blast.
Because of that meme. I went in there and I just started blasting.
All right, we're gonna switch slideshows. Mine's very short, but I just have some images for discussion. This is the same idea that I really want to see a battle right in front of Grayskull, where you get to just be you can be watching the battle or be just staring at the background.
Yeah.
You know, I want the backgrounds in this movie to play an important role.
I would like to see either the filmation skies or the art where it's all dark and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The box art. I mean, the stuff that we all fell in love with, the box art.
Yeah.
Mood of the box art and the backgrounds of the filmation cartoon. I can just stare at that. Oh, you know that book that came out, Garfield Without Garfield, where the artist redacted all Garfield. So it's just
really?
the human,
I never saw that. Yeah.
What's the human's character again?
John
is just talking to himself. And it's actually the hardest. Every time I open it, I laugh so hard. It's hilarious. But the point is, sorry, I'm off on a tangent. I wish that there was just the backgrounds and the music, no dialogue, no characters of Masters of the Universe that we could watch, the Filmation cartoon. Just to have the mood and the visuals, I could stare at that for hours. Anyways, this is beautiful. I want to see something like this. I kind of want Snake Mountain to be super weird and combine some of Filmation Snake Mountain with a little bit of the playset Snake Mountain.
Yeah, that's a good one to think about. Because there's Grayskull's Grayskull, but Snake Mountain, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, how are you all visualizing what Snake Mountain will look like in the movie?
I'm hoping it's like Filmation with the original set as well put together.
Yeah.
I would be okay with just Filmation. Like, I think they kind of nailed it in the original cartoon. But
they
could do that. They could do 2000X. They could do like the classic Snake Mountain. That was a good one.
Yeah, I want Snake Mountain to kind of feel alive. Like even the Filmation version of Snake Mountain feels alive.
I think if they asked me to do it, one way that I would want to do it is it should be you mix them together.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So you have if you went to Snake Mountain, you'd have all of those craggy, sharp. What is it on the bottom? Stalagmites, I guess it is. Yeah. And then when you get past those, that's the bottom of Snake Mountain, the old play set. Right. And then it just the rest of the mountain comes out of the back of that.
Yeah.
And then you get the spire with the snake at the very top, because it's a malleable concept to me. For Snake Mountain more than anything. But even the one thing I gotta give credit to with the CGI cartoon when they did that was they even went to Skeletor's yelling at the Masters who are approaching Grayskull, and he's on a microphone and it's coming out of the actual snake head.
Yeah.
In that, and I was watching it with my son just like a week or two back, and it makes me laugh every time they do that because I'm like, oh dear God, they even reference that. And I'm not saying do it as a joke,
yeah,
but it's just that feeling of put it all together, synergize it to make it into the ultimate version of it for the live action movie.
Yeah, I don't want to be disappointed by these integral set pieces. But another thing that I really want to see is the land shark in this movie. But
I think it would be pretty easy for all the vehicles, especially if they do how they did it in Revelation or whatever that cartoon is, and they had the big battle scene and they threw in all those vehicles. They could do something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they always rely on the rotons though.
Yeah.
Everything
every time
because they always have it like here's this mass roton thing, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing like Spider in the background and silhouette coming through crowds. I mean, that'd be freaking.
Could do
looking.
Fright Fighter would be good too.
Yeah, for sure. Fright Fighter, is that the one that basically looks exactly like the aircraft in the new Dune movies? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to see Dragon Walker be badass. Just like wipe out a bunch of people instead of being the one vehicle that seems the most non-utilitarian.
Right.
It'd be really cool to see a Dragon Walker actually just kicking butt in the background of a scene.
Yeah, you're pretty much a sitting duck in that thing, but unless you're He-Man,
Yeah.
So a way that would be cool though is if the Dragon Walker, even though it's slow, it breathes fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when it gets into battle, it might take some time, and it can clear like that whole movement. It's clearing people around it, but then you also have it breathing fire into the crowd. I mean, that would be a hell of a weapon.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Compared to,
for sure.
It just is a bridge thing that moves.
Definitely.
When we were kids.
I also want Stinkor, even just a cameo.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't fart.
No, he can't fart.
I don't want to hear a fart noise. I'd rather just have him stink.
Yeah, he's just got to emanate that, and he doesn't even have to he can just be a background character, even not even stinking up the place, just like there ready to fight.
Well, I thought the 2000X the NYP episode was one of the best.
It's probably my favorite of that entire run of shows.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
He would be a fun one where it's like, imagine if Beastman is calling in beasts to attack or something, and he shows up and it's like, not you.
Not you.
Just give him that kind of thing. Like, he's the lowest of the low. No one would want to deal with him. He smells so bad that it's like, even just being near him, I have to take a bath tonight. Thanks so much for showing up, Stinkor.
Even Pig Boy bullies him.
Yeah. It's like Pig Boy has to give Stinkor a bath. There's your comedy. Be done with it there.
Right. The bog of eternal stench.
Yeah. Oh. And no one said anything about Orko either in any of the announcements that I've noticed.
I'm sure it'll be there.
I'm sure it will.
But I hope so, and I hope that they take nods from Mondo.
It would be cool like that, yeah.
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 I hope they go full Mogwai with his eyes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He got the big eyes, yeah.
Yeah. Make him look real, like his skin is black or something.
But I wanted to be small and stuff, not like the 2000X where he's real thin and long.
No, I want him to be. I want him to be. He's got to be the new Grogu.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. If they want to do it smart, they could do that.
Yeah.
Everybody will just love him, and then here you go.
And all of us will be saying it's about damn time.
That's right.
Well, it's the same as right now. Crypto's winning everybody's heart with the Superman movie and stuff, and that would end up being your go-to for if you're not into seeing Masters for this reason or that reason, here's this, you know. And so it's like he's a character that I've never been a fan of because I didn't like the silliness or whatever. But you know, he's like Revelation completely proved me wrong on him. And I will say, if he's in the movie, they better try to get Griffin Newman to do the voice for him again, because my God, what he brought to that character with his vocals in Revelation was mind blowing to me.
Yeah, come on.
I never ever felt like I got knocked on my ass as hard as I did listening to him.
Yeah.
Teela, let's do one last event. I mean, my God, I was misty-eyed going like, damn you, Orko. You don't have to bring this out of me. I never liked you like this, you know?
I know, right?
So
yeah, Griffin Newman just kicked ass with that part.
He was one of the best parts of Revelation, and I was really, really hating myself for saying it, but he won me over.
Yeah. Motu Prince says, Sean, I totally agree. Orko stole the show. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would be okay with Orko being like the end credit scene or something like that, or someone that shows up midway through the movie. I mean, I don't know how they would do it. Orko's got to just be there from the beginning, right? Because
I would hope so, yeah. Because he's already. Well, I mean, with the storyline, Prince Adam found him when he was young. You know,
I still want them to do a nod to the '87 movie when Lubbock he sees Gwildor. What the hell is that? I want them to take Adam through a portal, like the sorceress does the portal to get him to Eternia, and there's Orko with the sorceress waiting, and Adam's like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, Stratos in the back with his muscles glistening, and
how does that lizard have feathers? This makes no sense.
Everybody in skimpy outfits. It's the biggest culture shock in the universe.
Yeah.
I went from Earth to a Chippendales party. What the crap is happening? I want Orko to be done. I'm with you, Nolan. I want Orko to be done with practical. I want Orko to at least feel like Grogu feels, because Grogu is practical but also digital. They blend really well together, and I want them to do that with him. He's got to look like he came out of the Jim Henson Creature Shop.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I will say with that Mondo, because I didn't buy the Mondo for Orko, but that and having it have like glyphs going through, that would be freaking cool. Because another checklist thing for me, I guess I'd say, is I love if they could put more of that into this to make it feel like an established world and give it that world building vibe without needing to talk about it, but you see it in the designs of the characters and the designs of the weapons and the vehicles. That's what they did for us when we were kids. Those vehicles blew our minds, going, there's a part of this and there's this and what does this do? But through that, you're like, this is the kind of world that this is. And a world built through each new toy you'd buy, just like, let's do it through the costumes. Let's do it through the weapons and stuff, and have it as a shorthand. And Orko is a perfect example of that. Just a big O on a chest, like it's a t-shirt, you know, let's do it where it means that's maybe how he projects his spells then, or like hones his magic through that, and then he can let it out through his hands or something. That'd be a little bit more interesting to me.
And like you said, without too much exposition.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need a lot of exposition. We need to know what's going on with Adam. We need to know what's going on with Skeletor. We need to want to know what's going on in general in Eternia. But beyond that, everything else we should be able to just accept. Like, there's a gray guy with a blue beard. Like, we just accept that. We don't need an explanation. Orko is this, how every single character looks like they're part of another race, but where is everybody else? Like, where are all the others? Why does it feel like such a mashup society, and just have it be that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm even anticipating disappointments, and I'm actually kind of excited to see what my disappointments will be.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you have to do that? What will that be, you know?
I mean, based on what I've seen so far with the behind the scenes photos getting leaked and all that stuff, I gotta say I'm actually way more impressed with the amount. Like they have some of those drone shots where you can see like there's this circle and it looks like it's a map of Eternia.
It is,
and they legit have it all detailed and stuff. And I'm like, didn't expect them to go here. And then you see
looks
bits
like
of the Grayskull drawbridge.
Yeah.
And I'm
and
like,
it's huge.
It does, but it's like it's not exactly the way I want it to be. So Grayskull could be iffy depending on how they render that. But I'm also like, but they're going there. They're really trying to make this feel legit, and it feels like a lived-in world in a lot of cases.
The drawbridge has teeth.
Yes,
right?
That's good.
That's very important that they did that, and I'm so glad that they're there. It does look a little like too symmetrical for my taste.
That's my problem. It's almost 2000X-ish, which makes me a little nervous because I want it asymmetrical and wonky looking. And it always looks better that way for me.
Castle Grayskull it needs to feel broken and
organic and ruined.
Organic
and ruined and mysterious. Those are like if somebody said to me, how should I design this? Those would be the 4 words I'd throw at them right there and just go, now see what you come up with. And don't use a ruler. No rulers, just crazy.
no rulers at all. And there has to be a lot of green. There has to be a lot of green.
Yep.
I could even imagine. I know we keep saying this, even though we don't really want this to happen. But thinking of little jokes that come up throughout the movie. Comment on it being green and not gray would be funny. I know that's what I would be thinking if I saw it in real life, and I know that's what I thought when I was a kid. I was like, why isn't it Green Skull?
I can see Adam seeing that probably when he first goes there. If they go with the green, why do they call it Grayskull? What that or even Orko making a weird comment about it. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to use like the fact that he grew up on Earth. Like he's the fish out of the water, so all the exposition is going to be because he's not familiar with it. So that's how they do their exposition dumps in this.
I feel like Tila is going to play a lot of that role. I think, like explaining what the hell's going on to Adam, which is going to help us understand.
I actually, I'll go here. I actually hope they don't let her do that. I hope that she's the one who's like frustrated that she has to go get him.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that she would almost have like a chip on her shoulder about the fact that why do I go pick up this guy when we should be able to handle Skeletor?
Yeah. Okay.
And Man at Arms being the guy who's the exposition guy, because he's always was the teacher for Adam and for Tila. And I think that would be a really nice, like a trinity for the heroes to have the teacher, the mentor, and the students. But Tila being way more capable because she grew up like this, and Adam being the one who's really lacking, but then becomes the hero at the end of the day. So
that makes a lot more sense.
I hope they do that. I'm not saying they will, but I do like the idea. She's on Earth getting him, obviously, with these photos. So it's like. Man at Arms or Sorceress is like, you go get him, you could protect them, bring them back, and then Man at Arms is filling in the gaps of the history of things and why they did what they did with them, and her just being the one on the side with her arms crossed and like, we don't need him, father, and that kind of stuff, and having that chip on her shoulder with Adam through most of the movie until she sees He-Man and all that stuff.
I think we're all on board with you on this. And Motu Prince says you nailed it for sure. I hope it's something close to that.
I would be happy because Mentor is a real big part of Man at Arms' character to me.
Right.
And, that's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Idris Elba's like the perfect actor for that too.
yeah, I'm happy he's involved in this because man, they wasted him in Thor, and it's like Man at Arms is not a character that you sideline. You gotta have him being one of the 3 main heroes in this movie, which is great.
It has to be. Yep.
Yeah. Or I'm thinking like that 2000X scene where he faces off against Skeletor. And he holds his own for a while, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got to be tough as nails and also emotionally available. That's what he needs to be. He's going to be Man at Arms. I think you're right, Sean. I think he's going to be the one that takes us through. It's going to be the tour guide.
That or my mind also went in a different direction now that you went there with 2000X. What if he does something similar to that? Skeletor is attacking the palace. Man at Arms is front line going up against him, and he gets obliterated in front of everybody's eyes. And that's when they're like, we got to get the prince.
Oh,
and
that
then
makes sense.
send Teela because it's like the episode where it's like Man at Arms got turned into crystal or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's that whole race against time. But I'm hoping they don't sideline him. So I'm really hoping that's not what they go with. But I do like that idea a lot where it's like there's a reason Teela shows up instead of him. And it's probably, like I said, the first one I like better, but the second one I'm like, that could be badass just having them do that 2000X reference with him going head to head. It's like,
maybe he gets
crap.
maybe he gets captured.
And
so in desperation they go get Prince Adam.
Yeah. I just don't want him sidelined. The poor guy was sidelined enough in Thor, so
yeah. So Fisto's going to be in there too. And that's going to be awesome. The actor that they got to play Fisto looks like Fisto.
Just no fisting jokes either.
And exactly. I was just going to go there.
I hate that shit.
Why does there have to be? The name is funny in itself. We don't need jokes to reinforce that. So, I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about seeing Mechanic. I mean, Ram Man's already been cast. Like, that's amazing.
They should do Manny Faces too. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I haven't seen a name pop up for Manny Faces yet, but
they mentioned him at CinemaCon, but I don't know. They haven't cast anybody, but I do like the fact that they at least mentioned him. So this could be such a big cast that they're not even giving us half of the names at this point. They're just filming.
Sure seems like it.
I know
it should be.
I know it won't be Tommy Lee Jones because he can only play 2 faces.
No, but if they did cast Tommy Lee Jones as Manny Faces, I think that might be a thing. Like, I don't think that's gonna work.
I'm Tommy trying Lee Jones, to picture that one. Boy.
Yeah, it can't.
One of the faces of Tommy Lee Jones, and then it spins, and then Jim Carrey's the other one.
Right.
Batman Forever.
Oh my god.
No, and then Mr. Freeze for the third face.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Arnold.
Freeze. Hey, he'll be the robot face.
Yeah, right.
I'll be back.
Jeez.
Wait to see the movie.
Freeze, Baldwin.
It's time to download.
Oh man.
So, what do you not want to see in this movie? We've talked a little bit about that, but
anything in Revelations.
Oh dang!
Wow.
Oh snap.
Well, yeah, I can do that. If
I
we've
really
had it
want
all,
to see character deaths. I don't really want to
I don't.
Really I want to see any beloved characters dying.
I don't either.
They could kill Sauron again, though, if they want to. If they bring
leave poor Sauron.
Poor Sauron. Always
actually, they could kill Karg this time. That guy deserved more killing than Sauron did. Sauron was at least cool looking with the reptilian movements.
And Nolan says, I'd like to see 3 to 5 minute scene of Dragstore just ripping around.
Yeah.
I mean,
chasing the Roadrunner.
3 to 5
This is
minutes.
pod
If you
racing.
think about that, that's a pretty long period of time
Yeah.
just
Yeah, it is.
watching Dragstore. But I would love that. That would be, or if they're talking and in the background, Dragstore is like zipping around.
You can see the
That'd
dust
be-
flying in the air.
Yeah. John also agrees no main character deaths. That clarifies it a little bit. I mean,
Mhm.
if Goatman moves on to the
Yeah.
next plane of existence in this movie, I don't think many of us would be that disappointed. You know, Pig
Right.
Boy maybe,
Some palace guards. Okay.
a couple
But,
palace
you know,
guards, but we don't want to see Mechaneck
Right.
die. We don't want to see Ram Man die.
Yeah, what would you think if like Skeletor walked up to Mechaneck and just grabbed a hold of his head, just ripped his head off, and just held it up with the kind of like Sub-Zero did with his fatality,
Mhm.
saw like the neck hanging.
Nah, I don't wanna
That'd
see
be
that.
rough.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool to see, but I think I don't know if I want Mechaneck to die so fast. It's like plenty of lost opportunities to have interesting scenes with that guy.
No, I know, but
But
I'm just
that-
saying,
That would be kind of a badass scene, though. I have to tell you.
it would make Skeletor more evil to you.
Yeah.
If it's got to do anybody, make it Snout Spout.
He'll just rip.
I want Snout Spout to survive and be the great champion.
I
Or
like
the end of
Extendar.
the end of the trilogy. Snout Spout is taking over the He-Man position.
There you go. He's got a
Nolan
battle
says,
elephant.
yeah, totally. Nolan says I'd be okay with Buzz Off losing his wings.
Wow.
I could see like Skeletor doing something like that, but I don't
Then
necessarily.
he
want
gets the
to.
mechanical wings, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man at Arms makes them then.
Mm-hmm. Nothing will keep Buzz Off down.
No.
I think for me the biggest one that I don't want to see is I really don't want them to make it comedic in a way where it makes any characters bumbling, like I said earlier. That is probably the main one. Other than that, I can't think of too much where I'm like, they can't do this, because I know this is never going to be the movie I want to see.
Right.
It's going to be bits and pieces of what everybody would like so that you can get people in the theater. But for the love of God, don't make Beastman a moron. Don't make all of the Skeletor's warriors these bumbling fools that only Skeletor can tell them what to do. These guys should be able on their own to attack and fight and come up with ideas on how to go up against the heroes without needing Skeletor to step 1, step 2, step 3, like he sometimes does on the show, and that drives me up the wall. So yeah, that I think is the main one for me right now that I can think of.
I mean, I'm with you. I want some humor in it. Humor in humor in a movie that's fantasy. I feel like that's always been the tradition. Like there are jokes in Conan the Barbarian, and
There are,
but they're not overwhelming the film. And that's the thing. There needs to be some humor because that was also embedded in the Filmation cartoon. But there just should not be a lot. I mean, I feel like 2000X, as you said, Sean, like just it dumbs down the characters. It doesn't let them be. It doesn't let the villains be who they should be.
Yeah.
And so it's got to do that for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing, like your point about Conan, I mean, it's funny though, because like if you think about it, the stuff that's funny in Conan is more related to Conan and his reaction to somebody he's working with.
Yes.
The villain in both of those movies, Conan the Destroyer and in Conan, never ever was played for laughs. They wanted you to know the drama and the threat of these guys. And so I'm really hoping that they do that. I mean, Travis Knight is directing this. He did the Bumblebee movie, and he doesn't play the villains in those movies or in that movie to be something where you're going to take them as, oh, whatever, like he made the villains these are guys walking through Autobots, the Decepticons in those movies. They are literally killing Cliff Jumper right before your eyes and stuff. Do I want to see them kill people? No, but I would like to see them be a force to be reckoned with, and that's what they deserve to be for 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could show their strength just as much as by beating the hell out of, some of the good guys.
Absolutely.
Not to the point where they're dead, but they can like say, hey, they just took him out. That's pretty good,
Out of commission.
Right.
Basically, yeah. And that's what I hope they do go there. So
there's got to be a lot of there in order for it to be believable to new audiences, there has to be a lot at stake.
I hope there's a lot of sorcery too. Like
there has to be
with evil in and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Bob, because there has to be an equal amount of science and sorcery on Eternia. And if it's just all sorcery, we're going to feel like we're missing something.
Right.
Or if it's all science, we're going to be missing something. So we definitely need to have a lot of that.
Yeah, not just a beat 'em up movie either,
and not just a beat 'em up movie. Yeah.
You gotta have heart.
And like I said, there's got to be something at stake. And I think the idea of Man-at-Arms, facing up against the evil warriors or Skeletor himself and coming into trouble, and then Tila having to go get at him based on what the sorceress is saying, that the only choice you have is to do this, makes a lot of sense. I almost feel like, was that your idea, Sean? I mean, I almost feel like Sean wrote the movie, and that the name of the person who wrote the movie is Sean's pen name.
I'll be honest, I would love a crack at it but I would also end up doing it where it would feel probably more mini comics than it would feel Filmation, and I think that would lose a lot of people that were excited. So that's why I know I have no dog in that race, and that's why let's just see what happens with what they're doing with this one.
I think the people involved, I think you and Matt were talking about this. I think Travis Knight is a fanboy enough of 80s culture to take it seriously. And it sounds to me like the footage from CinemaCon shows that. And that is why many of us are breathing a sigh of relief in the Masters of the Universe fan communities. It's nice to hear that someone's willing to put their ass on the line for this movie. And I mean that in a very serious way. Like, you start throwing in characters that are brightly colored, you're taking a chance. We've been so used to serious, cold, superhero movies that are just now starting to accept, weirdness. So it's a big chance.
Yeah.
Captain Biscuit 71, good to see you. Says, I think it boils down to evil and nasty. They got to make Skeletor. He has to be rotten. Yeah, for sure. He can't be a joke.
No.
By the end of the movie, he can't be like, walking around with kids in the snow, right?
Wow. But I do hope he has some smart mouth remarks though. Like, that's.
They got to have him have that too, for sure.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that, because think of the casting. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of Jared Leto myself, there is that part of me that's like, he isn't somebody that comedically does anything. Like he's somebody that it's serious, and he embraces a lot of the stuff he does. Whether you love him or hate him, it's like, there's a certain seriousness he has that he's not a comedic entertainer in that way. So I'm kind of excited to see what he does, because he might have this like Wraith vibe about him doing Skeletor that maybe we've never gotten to see. We've gotten to see Langella do it, and Langella was freaking great. He was one of the best parts of the original movie. But I'd be really curious to see what he brings to the table in that, because I feel like he might play it where it's spooky. I'm really, unnerving maybe.
I recommend that you all watch him playing the Hatbox Ghost in the
Yeah,
Haunted Mansion.
I have seen that. Yeah.
He does a good job of being a skeleton, essentially,
Mhm.
and that's like, if he can do that, he can do Skeletor.
Yep.
And this is coming from somebody who's like, oh great, a Haunted Mansion movie, it's probably gonna suck. I was genuinely impressed, actually. It's not a spectacular film, but nothing against Eddie Murphy, but it's a lot better than that version of
Agreed.
it's a lot better than that one. But yeah, he's got to be evil and nasty, as Captain Biscuit said, as you said, Sean, and he's got to be able to, though. He does have to be able to throw out a few sharp quips every once in a while.
Mhm.
Be terrifying and also be a smart ass. So hopefully Jared Leto can pull that off, because you're right. I don't think the Joker, maybe. I didn't like that his version of the Joker.
I didn't like that either, but he didn't play it for laughs. And
No.
he was going straight. And I'm trying to think of other ones. It's like, I feel like this is not going to be a Skeletor we've seen yet, the more I think about it, with him being cast in it. So that's why, like, when we first start getting previews to this, I'm really pumped to see what happens, because I mean, you and I, we've been going back and forth for a while now, ever since the teaser trailer for Superman hit.
Yeah.
And what we're excited about and what our hopes are. And it's like, just give me one moment of hearing him talk, and what it may be, even like a slight hint of what he looks like. And that's going to be enough for me to go, this could be a definitely different defining Skeletor than we expected.
Yeah.
He-Man could be the one with more comedy in this. Like,
I think he's gonna. I mean, based on those images we've seen, He-Man's, at least Prince Adam's gonna be a little doofy.
Probably. Yeah.
And I'm totally okay with that. He always has been doofy.
That works.
And then when he becomes He-Man, I hope he feels a little awkward, and then like has to kind of build upon being the hero, because he's been this doofy guy. And I don't know. I'm excited. I have high hopes for this. I always thought that James Gunn should make a He-Man movie. And I feel like Travis Knight might be, taking a lot of it, not learning a lot from what James Gunn has been doing successfully. And hopefully that'll help. I still haven't seen Bumblebee, but I know pretty much everybody that is in the toy collecting community that I've talked to that have seen that movie really appreciate it as fans of Transformers.
It's the best of the live action movies for my money. No matter
That's
what
I've heard.
it just works really well. And I love that they go to Cybertron in that. The whole beginning of that movie is like, this is what I wanted a live action movie to be.
Yeah.
Ever since the first movie hit, and
yeah,
and he gets it. It's almost like he just brings his toys out of the toy box, sets them down, and you're watching this movie that he's making by playing with his toys in the 80s. So I'm like, if that's how you played with He-Man, hey, let's do it.
Yeah. As Bobby said earlier, and if this ends up looking like the G.I. Joe movie, the first one, I haven't seen the other ones, but if it looks anything like that, I'm going to be pissed.
I will be too.
That was such a disappointing. G.I. Joe is supposed to be a visual feast,
right?
Like Masters of the Universe. It's supposed to be like, all of this opportunity for creative character development and interesting costumes, and they just like flatlined it for that movie. Apologies to anybody that liked that movie. It's just it's part of my truth. It's just knowing that G.I. Joe was, for me as a kid, was amazing and huge, just like Masters was, but they just limited it. What did they hobbled it? Lobotomized it, or is that too harsh? Hobbled it, I think.
They almost lobotomized it. I mean, it goes back to the X-Men, the first X-Men movie. It's like everybody's in black leather, and it's like part of what made X-Men really cool when I was a kid was everybody had an identity in their costume.
Yeah.
And this is what they brought to the table. And instead, you have a whole group of people just wearing black. And it's like, well, that's awesome. Who cares?
Well, thanks to thanks to Deadpool, thanks to James Gunn, thanks to Thor Ragnarok. Who's the director of that one? Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Thanks to Taika, we're finally able to put heroes in the costumes that they were in. Superman has his red undies. I mean, he should always. Someone posted on Instagram today a series of all the Supermen, and the best looking ones have undies. They just do, and the ones that are actually blue and red, not like navy blue or maroon,
red, or burgundy or whatever.
I mean,
it's funny. Like they make the Supermans, the modern ones, they're colored like the evil Superman from Superman 3.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly the bar Superman. And so we can get a yellow suited Wolverine. We can get a orange and red Beastman. Right. And that's the way it should be. And just put him in the shadows. He doesn't have to be out in the sunlight looking all bright orange and bright red, right?
But why not though? I mean, it's the characters.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, if they're afraid of that, just put them in the shadows. But
if they're afraid of it, they shouldn't be making the movie.
Amen.
This is true.
That's exactly true. Oh my gosh, Nolan, mentioning another travesty. Let's hope it's not Michael Bay Ninja Turtles. I mean, given I've only watched a few clips of it, but I did not like it at all. Just let these. I mean, that's why I love the original Ninja Turtles movie, because it lets the characters be the characters.
It wasn't afraid to be dark, and
it's dark.
Made it fun when I was a kid. Like when they fought Shredder at the end, when they fought the Foot Ninjas in April's apartment. I remember watching that going, how are they getting out of this when I was like 10 years old?
Yeah.
It was one of the best parts of the movie because it was like the chips are down. There's 3 turtles fighting an army of these guys. What the heck are they going to do? Like, I want those kind of moments in a He-Man movie, like I want that kind of, give me, I always say it when I was on Legends of Grayskull, but give us stakes. Give us these stakes that make the viewers have to rise to the occasion and really fight for what they need to get the accomplishment they need or whatever.
Yes, steaks for dinner and steaks in the theater.
Yep.
But that's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a good example of this. Like that movie, there's dark scenes, but when they're in the sun, they are green turtles.
Yes.
Their personalities are the personalities. They're not trying to be cool. They're just trying to be them. They just are themselves. They're stuck as themselves. It's what makes the Ninja Turtles so much fun.
Yep.
Is that they are. There's nothing that can they're not. There's no facade for them. Even when they're trying to be cool, it's like you just can't do it. But like that's what we want from Masters of the Universe. Just the pure spirit of this franchise. The colors, like Bobby said, Beastman, if he's out in the sun, he should be bright orange and red. But like in that scene where they're all running around, the street scenes that Adam was showing earlier, let me just go back to it real quick because I've seen some other images from this same group of images where they are looking up. I'm going to try and find that one here. They're looking up like this, and the beast, the creature, but maybe it's a shadow beast or something, but the creature that's running around after them is a person with this, this big wire thing above him, and he's doing sort of ape movements, and they're out in the sun, right? So
it can't be a shadow beast then.
It can't be a shadow beast, and he's also going to be orange or red, right? And we're going to see that right from the get-go. Hopefully we will see that right from the get-go. I'll even accept like Tila's hair here kind of red. But it's got to be obvious that he's orange or red. Let's see. Alan says, I'm really excited. I love how active this 40-year-old brand is. And it's crazy. It's amazing. Who would have thunk it? I mean, 10 years ago, was it 10 years ago about now when Classics was dying off?
It finished off in 20, but it started to die off in like 2016. It started to slow down at least.
That was when Natty Collector was getting shut down, at least, and then Super 7 was going to take over from there.
So that's a long time ago. I didn't think it would. After Super 7 was working on it, I thought, okay, this is the dwindling of it. It's going away, and then they stopped doing it. I remember going to Super 7 in San Francisco and seeing the last of the Masters of the Universe figures on the shelves there, on the racks there, and they were like, "Yeah, it's leaving." And then who would have thought that after that we would be in such a position where we are now, where they're actually making a movie. There are multiple like Masters toy lines happening right now. It's crazy. Captain Biscuit says there's so much lore. Hopefully the writers realize they can make several movies or trilogy and not just write a one-off. I hope so too. That does scare me a little bit, because I feel like the Barbie movie is just a one-off. Like, I don't know how there could be a sequel. I mean, there could probably be one, but I'm hoping they do not do that with this film. I hope that they leave us on a cliffhanger. I hope that some issues are not resolved.
I'm sure they can make it where if it's just a one movie, it's satisfying with the ending, but at the same time, it'll leave it open for anything, because we know how this franchise can be.
Yeah. Part 2 could be the Horde or something.
Yeah. Or who was I thinking of? Scareglow or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully this movie breathes life into a younger generation without losing what it is. We're all hoping that, Nolan, for sure. And then Alan says, is he Superman in this? Like, he gets his powers when he gets into Eternia? It's hard to tell, because he is holding the sword. I mean, it's there's this, and let me find the other image where he is sort of like, so it looks like there are images where he is trying to wield the sword.
There were some others too where he was getting arrested. Those were the very first set photos I remember. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering if it's something where he finds the sword, maybe it's like the cosmic key thing where they go through the portal, but then the sword ends up in one place and Tila ends up in another, and she has to go and find him. He finds the sword, cops arrest him because there he is with a weapon and all this stuff. And then Tila has to get him away from the cops or whatever. And that's how he has the sword already.
Or he stole it from a museum or something. And
it belongs in a museum. No.
Or maybe the sword came to him. Like,
it could be. I was wondering how that worked, because they did have him with two policemen or police people or whatever. And he's holding it. And it made me go like, is it something he found? Is it something that he's had and he's trying to get an idea of what this is about, and he's going to take it to somebody and he gets arrested because he's got an open weapon or something? I don't know, but so it's like little bits and pieces of whatever this Earth scene is. But
I wish they would just do away with the Earth stuff, though. But
I think they're going to start there and move on. I really do. I think that's the way it'll go. Alan makes just real quick, Alan does make a good point here. The low tier cast makes sequels viable for sure.
Absolutely.
Like, that's, Star Wars.
I mean, as much as I don't like the Earth stuff, I will say for a new generation and for people that might not have as much interest in it, I do think it is a really smart way of telling a story that, you know, it's something where Adam was sent to Earth to protect him so that he you know, he was safe with all the stuff happening on Eternia, maybe, or he grew up here or whatever. Then going into the rest of the movie, that's a really easy way for exposition, like we talked about.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not a fan of, I'd rather see from beginning to end on Eternia. That's why I said this movie will not be my movie. This movie will always be some of its parts of what they need to do to make it work. Yeah. I'm willing to forgive the Earth stuff as long as the Eternia stuff is what we never got in the original live action movie. And it works well, like Thor and even the Wonder Woman movie have proven. The fish out of water thing does really help that, at least.
Yeah, so that's exactly how this movie should and will, if it's successful, accomplish this. If the younger generation, this generation is a little bit different from us. I mean, for some reason, we were able to just like start off in a weird universe and just accept it. I think now, in order for the weird universe to make sense, younger people today need to be led into it and be taught a little bit about it. And the only way to do that is to have the character whose eyes we're seeing through be a tourist in this new area that and has to learn it, just like these younger audience members will be learning about it, like the main little kid opening up the Never-Ending Story for the first time. Yeah, that allows us to be like, oh, we're starting off on Earth in this normal environment, but we're going to quickly go into this new realm that is going to completely engulf you. And yeah, Eric, our generation had to use our imagination. It's true. I think we didn't have a choice, but we were also being told. We were part of a generation that was actually being told to use our imagination. Right. I'd done that with my kids. I don't know how other people are doing that with their kids, but it does seem like there's a new way of utilizing our creativity, a young person's new way of utilizing their creativity now, and that is often led by a device, and that I think has changed the way children use their imagination, for sure. I don't know if they're not using it though. But we had to fend for ourselves in the wilds of weirdness. Movies in the 70s were weird, and we had to just sort of figure it out. Yeah.
I will say, like, my son really loves that CGI Netflix show, and they don't really go to Earth there. He embraced Eternia on all of what it is, and he and I were like, he'd ask me questions about stuff, and I'd be sitting there going, well, based on what I know from, you know, my version of it, this is what could happen or whatever. But for the most part, like, there's a lot of good franchises out there, like How to Train Your Dragon, the Kung Fu Panda franchise, and things like that, where it is like, here's this world, and we're not making it that you need to be on Earth to jump into this world. You just jump into the world and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon's a good example of that.
Yeah, and like the Kung Fu Panda one, it's like he embraced that so easily, and he went through all 4 movies in like a week, and it's one that he always comes back to. So it's like, even though we have all these superhero movies that are based on Earth, you really could do a He-Man that probably is full on Eternia and not have to pander that way, which kind of annoys me, which is why I said this won't be my movie, but I will accept it if it means I get the Eternia I've always wanted to see out of a movie finally.
Yeah.
But for better or worse, this is what we're getting, but I feel like they probably could have done it without going to Earth.
Yeah, we know that they could have for sure.
Yes.
And that would have been an amazing movie.
Absolutely.
An amazing movie. I think, you know, I can kind of understand the fear that Mattel would be feeling in not if they did that, they might isolate their audience. Then I can see why that fear would be present for them, which I'm all for. Take a risk with it, people. Like, you know, do something the audience wouldn't expect, or do something that would shock and awe people who are unfamiliar with it, and you know, try something else. But I do kind of understand it, though. I think it's going to be. I think we're all going to be in agreement, though, that the few minutes that they are on Earth are going to be our least favorite.
Yeah.
If he's joking around with his friends, getting a sandwich at the corner cafe, it's going to be like, seriously, I did not sign on for this. Oh, who's that? She looks weird. I mean, I can't. I can't.
Nice outfit, baby.
Oh man, is that a dog behind you? No, I can't even imagine. But here we go, Nolan. We might luck out, and just the first 15 minutes is on Earth, the rest is on Eternia. I'm actually willing to bet on that. I think that's the way it's going to be. I think they will do flashback scenes or stuff like that. Maybe Queen Marlena talking about why Earth was chosen or something like that. But yeah, should be interesting. Anyways, we're getting close to the end here, guys. Yeah. Anything you want to mention that you're hoping to see in this film that we haven't talked about yet already?
Hope Trapjaw has a cool voice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to sound like he's talking in a container.
Right.
It's got to feel metallic.
Yeah.
But not robotic.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I will say the guy playing him looks like how I'd want to see Trapjaw look if you Google his face.
I'm gonna look that up after. Yeah.
He looks the way that I want to see. And when you think of that helmet on his head and the jaw and all, it's like, yeah, that's who should be playing him. So,
yeah.
I guess from my perspective, I really want to see a badass transformation sequence.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see something that like I've actually talked to a few people like on Reddit and stuff about it, and the one guy was like, I want a transformation sequence that makes me feel like my 5-year-old self is in the theater crying with joy. And I'm like, I'm not quite about that, but I mean, Filmation still is the standard. I don't think they've ever done a transformation better than that. So I'm kind of hoping there's Filmation-esque to the transformation. And I want to hear how he does it, because that for me is a huge deal with all of this. It's really weird, but it just is for me.
I as Nolan said, by the power of Grayskull, better be something that's said. There must be a holding of the sword aloft. There has to be some flashing strobe lights where they have to put a warning at the beginning of the film. This could cause seizures. Seizure warning. But it's got to be awe-inspiring, that transformation for sure. How about you guys, Bobby, Adam?
I'd like to see a lot of scenes in and around Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, me too. That's actually what I was gonna say too. I want to be in Grayskull. I want to have that experience.
Yeah, sure.
Just like what the cartoon gave me. You can't see what's around that corner, but you know that you're in Castle Grayskull.
Be cool.
Alan says, I don't want Orko, but I don't want him disrespected like Bupo in Clash of the Titans. I agree with you. I want Orko. I don't want him disrespected like Bupo in Clash of the Titans. We were talking about this earlier, Alan. I personally want Orko to be the next Grogu. Like, make him something that people want to take home and put a sticker on their car and get a stuffy of him at Target. And
so I say they'll have a lot of product of him out there.
That would be amazing. Because Orko deserves it. He doesn't deserve to be disrespected like Bupo.
Right.
Bobby, how about you?
I already said mine. The trap jaw thing. Yeah.
That's right. I guess we've already said our things.
Yeah.
What's coming up for you guys? Anything exciting?
I'm doing a second interview with Rebecca Taylor.
Oh, cool.
I interviewed her way back in the day with her husband,
Mm-hmm.
when I started the blog. So I'm doing another one, follow-up interview with her.
Wow.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
When will the rest of us get to reap the benefits of your interview?
I don't know. I'm sending her the questions this week.
Cool.
So we'll go back and forth. I'll probably have some follow-up. So hopefully within a couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Thank you for doing that, Adam.
Yes.
Bobby, how about you?
Well, I just got done redoing my whole channel.
Yeah.
I re-edited everything and took all my single part episodes and split them into 2 episodes for each case.
Nice.
So it's easier for a listener to listen to half the case at one time instead of waiting each week. It's just not working on YouTube that way. So it's easier to find the whole story on my channel now quicker.
Cool.
And easier to listen to it. And from now on, when I do my new ones, it'll be 2 parts and they'll come out one week after another. And there will be a bigger pause in between cases because, I can only write so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it'll just be better for the listener if they listen, whoever listens.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing.
It's been cool to see all the action happening over in on your channel and seeing all the changes, and the idea of doing this and turning this into a comic book is amazing. And I hope it gets off the ground.
Yeah, that was one of the things I always wanted to do with it since the beginning. But you always need material first before you get anything out there. So now that I actually have 5 cases written, 4 of them are already out there, but the 5th one I'm going to be working on right now. But I got other ideas and all kinds of stuff thought about already. So it always goes. So but we'll see if the comic book thing works out or not. I hope it does someday, but we'll see. Because I can't draw for crap. So
I can draw, but I can't draw like that. And if this turns into a comic book, you need some good artists. You got to get that mood. You got to get that mood just right. Yeah. Folks, if you're watching this and you're an artist, the email is right down below. I will get you connected with Bobby, or you can go over to Bobby's Patreon page, get connected there. Yeah. Or just go over to the Bobby Dangerous, the YouTube channel, and start making comments. Get connected with him. He's also on Instagram too.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky. Yeah.
And Blue Sky.
And Skelly's my agent, so he hasn't really done much yet. I've been getting on his case about it, but
I'm doing it right now, buddy.
I know you need to
give
start
me my money. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, you got to get me out there first before I can pay you.
You got to earn your commission.
Exactly. Yeah, earn it. Show me the money.
That's right. I'm doing it the backwards way. Alan, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you everybody for watching. Sean, what you got coming up? Anything exciting?
Yeah, I'm taking tomorrow off because this week was hell.
Good
I'm gonna
for
just
you.
relax tomorrow. I am gonna attempt to actually plug in the iPad and do some art and see
Good.
what happens there, but nothing to stress myself out because that's always where I get stage fright and I don't end up using the iPad and I go do something else. So I need to get back into the rhythm again. So.
Yeah. The
But
rhythm.
no shows, no nothing. I'm just doing my thing because
Yeah.
it's simpler and I need less crazy right now with how life has been. So
Oh, we all could use less crazy.
yep.
And you know, the if I could, if my channel's not doing this already, then I'm not doing my job. But this stuff should give us joy. If it's getting overwhelming, take a break. Do
Mhm.
something else. If collecting is giving you nightmares, stop collecting. You know what I mean? If you're freaking out about the Masters of the Universe movie, just chill out. You know, turn off your social media for a little bit.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Turning off social media was
Yeah.
a big help for me
Yeah.
this year. Yeah.
Yep.
I got away from it for like months and I didn't miss it one bit. It was nice. It was peaceful.
It almost feels like you have to access other parts of your brain, and the parts of our brains that we grew up with utilizing all the time.
Absolutely.
So taking breaks is good. And I think that's just a good way to live, period. Let's see. Well, not as many people watched my ASMR video as I thought they might. But
I'll be honest, I only watched half of it, and I couldn't handle when you started crinkling that plastic. Like I said, it just drives me nuts.
I thought I would do that for shits and giggles, and it was fun. I might do more, but just for the fun of it, because sometimes Oz and I were actually joking about this, like, we should do videos that are just silent, like no talking, because YouTube is a place of talking unless you're listening to music or ASMR, right? So I thought I'd try that, and it was a lot of fun actually to do. I didn't feel like I had to talk about Hordak. It was a huge weight off my back. I could just show Hordak, which is actually a pretty cool action figure, that cartoon collection Hordak. One of the better face sculpts of Hordak. Alan says here, you escape from what takes up your time. As soon as you do too much of your hobby, you need an escape. Having the creativity on tap is the hardest thing.
Right here.
Yeah, this actually
completely.
That's exactly what Sean was saying. And one thing that I've found over time is that it's a muscle. The creativity in us is a muscle that needs to be exercised. And if we're not regularly just sitting down to try and do something, then, and it doesn't have to be good. It can be shitty. But just the sitting down and just like moving stuff around can get the juices flowing again after a couple of times of doing that. But to be honest with you, it's just sometimes it's just hard to just sit down and do it. I mean, I will preach the action of making art all the time, but I've got my first custom action figure stuff down here. I've got some epoxy sculpt, and I'm like scared shitless. And it's that fear. It's that fear that's like that just lets the months go by, and those months become years. You just don't want to let it be that.
Right.
It's part of growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you were a kid, you didn't think of all of the repercussions of jumping off of a roof. You just did it because you thought that seemed like a good idea. As you get older, you're thinking of your investment in it, the time you have to put into it, all the steps you have to do. And after a while, you just tire yourself out before you even start. And you're like, well, I'll deal with that tomorrow or whatever. And, life and everything else on top of all that stuff can come in there. So, it's like you have to rewire your brain to make yourself happy again by not overthinking it and just being like a child again,
Being like a child again is the key, the absolute key to let go of our adult logic and our adult fears and expectations and
overthinking.
Get the overthinking
out of there. Just go with it. Yeah.
And Alan makes a good point here. That muscle also needs to be rested. Yeah, the exercise needs to happen, but it also needs a break. And that's just the same as our bodies. People who overdo it, simply overdo it, they'll hurt themselves.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Duchess. But aside from that, I mean, I've got a few